Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the penultimate race of the regular season, as we are in our final march to the end of the regular season to prepare for the playoffs. Who's making it in? Find out here coming that of next week. But first, they've got their last intermediate race of the regular season here at Kansas Speedway. It's the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series here this evening. As these drivers are getting prepared, Race Car Graveyard is the best place to go if you'd like to find yourself with that of some diecast collection items. They've got yourselves 124s, 164s NASCAR diecast, new, used, as well as custom. And if you go to Instagram at Race Car Graveyard for more information, and while you're purchasing, use the discount code RCGY for 10% off. As well as a Rookie of the Year award. It's going to be sponsored by Hot Lap Designs. Hot Lap Designs is one of the best places to go if you're looking for schemes, and they are affordable on the market. If you're looking for high qualities, they've got you covered. You got helmets, you've got your driving suits. They've also got you covered in that of dirt, asphalt, as well as road course vehicles in getting your schemes from that of old NASCAR schemes to also custom. It doesn't matter. Hot Lap Designs can do it. And as well tonight, it is going to be tonight's race sponsor. It's that of the FreedomNoteBuyers.com. At 2:25 here this evening. We'll talk more about FreedomNoteBuyers.com, but we first got to get ourselves situated up here in the booth. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Robert Moyer's going to be running the productions here this evening on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Zach, we have been trying to look at the points. They have been shuffling, and it's go time to see who is going to be making it here into that of our playoffs. 16 drivers make it in, but they've got to survive here at Kansas first.
Yeah, it is all or nothing now entering these final two races, Sam. It's going to be a fantastic finish to see who the 16 drivers are that do fight in going into these playoffs. I mean, it is very, very close. Like you said, we talked about it a little bit before, and it's going to be a little bit of a wild scene here, I believe, especially with some other scenarios possibly playing out where I was looking at even Danny Cochran. You know, he's locked in with the win, sitting right now sixth in points, actually. So he's actually in a pretty good spot, or sorry, sitting 12th in points. He's in a good position technically there, but he misses another race due to that suspension. And he's going to come back to Richmond very close to that 20 line. If he doesn't, or 21st position in points, and if you're not in that top 20, that win no longer counts to lock him in. So that could possibly open up another position there, and we'll see maybe someone else possibly go through. But, man, it's going to be a wild 2 weeks. Kansas and Richmond, two completely different racetracks, to decide who's going to fight for a championship.
Yeah, Danny Cochran, like you were noting on his season, is he'll be back coming into next week. So he's got one last opportunity to stay inside of our top 20, for his win to still count to make it into the playoffs. But for the drivers, they're out practicing right now in their final minute of practice before we get to qualifying action here. And some of these drivers certainly have been testing to see how fast they could be. But at the same time, as we're seeing here from Gregory Shaw, it is going to be a handful coming out of turn number 4. And that's where I've been seeing the majority of these drivers having their incidences. It's been very loose on the exit of that corner. But Zach, at the same time, this is a track notoriously known for that full throttle action.
Yeah, it is definitely notoriously known as that full throttle action. Another thing I think it's notoriously known for also is riding up against the wall. And that's something we're seeing right here watching Ryan Ferrari, the 12 machine. He's right on the bottom lane right now, and that's something I think you'll see utilized early in these runs. But as the runs go on, the tires start to burn off, I think majority of this field is going to be located right up against that safer barrier down in 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4. Trying to find that little bit of grip that's up there. And also this track progressively banks. So the higher you go up the surface of this racetrack towards that wall, the more banking you get to help you turn around that corner. And it definitely is a help once those tires start to go away.
Yeah, it certainly is, as drivers are rolling around here with practice being done. Qualifying now about to be started here in just a couple of moments. I do got to give note of last week. Last week, a chaotic Charlotte Motor Speedway where we finally got to see that of Thomas Green get to victory lane. That 15, I think if anything, might have learned that he's got an opportunity to get a win. But Zach, that was the first time we've seen Thomas Green finish in the top 5, and with the win, that is certainly going to be a good momentum builder for the 15 as we're heading into the final push to the playoffs.
Yeah, tonight will be that true test, I think, to see does that build that confidence? Does this finally flip the switch, as we've been saying? Would he finally break through and continue that on? Or does he start to slip back into those ways of making those mistakes, getting caught up into little hiccups there on these racetracks? We'll have to see tonight. It's going to be tough to tell so far, but these two races here can really help build that confidence for someone like Thomas Green, who's got a win late in this season, who's had a lot of pace, but just has not been able to get it all out until the final one here. It could come down to the right crucial time. As we head off into qualifying, though, I think this might be the crucial time for this race today.
As we're right on board with this of Ryan Ferraro in R12, get a sense of how he's going to be starting qualifying as his first lap begins. As Ryan Ferraro goes down into turn number 1, we're going to start to see drivers trickle in those times, expecting a big batch in the first goings. The majority of the field recognizing Kitty's go time immediately, but there's still going to be about anywhere from 8 to 10 drivers waiting until later on in qualifying as Ferraro riding high, trying to build up that momentum. And Zach, as we were talking about the high line being utilized to its maximum potential, that's what Ferraro certainly was trying there through 3 and 4.
Yeah, definitely going as high as possible there to build up as much pace here heading down into 1 and 2. And you're going to see he's actually going to use the bottom here to go the shortest way around. And that, like I said, is due to those early laps on tires. You can hold it wide open. So you just want to take that shortest way around this racetrack. So he'll probably like to do the same thing heading down here into 3 and 4. But that first lap, you always want to get that momentum build up in these lower horsepower race trucks. And they will definitely be a little bit more quick on that second lap as the times continue to click through. Eric Stamp, our winner from Atlanta there, had a great time. But last week's winner in Charlotte, Thomas Green, coming through the top time.
Thomas Green with a 31.386. Going to be good enough for first. Ryan Ferraro that we watched comes away second. A good launch for himself, but that gets swamped immediately as Aaron Kralik going to be taking that second place position as these drivers trickling in, like I said. But a driver that we have not seen for a while, the 18 of that Justin Sipes, is back racing this week. This could be a little bit of a game changer if Sipes can stick with a good run here for that 18.
Yeah, that could change up the order, no doubt, indeed. And he's had some good runs early in the season. Does have that one win to his name there, so just hasn't been able to get to all the races this year, so wasn't able to compete for a spot in the championship. Right now located about 33rd in points, so well outside of that zone. And along with Jarrett Talmadge, I think he's kind of in the same boat, back there in the 29th position at points, but he doesn't look like he's going to be able to use that to lock himself in either. So those two guys got wins this season, but that you got to make a little bit more races and get to that top 20 points if you want to be able to use that as your ticket to make it through. But more times coming through. Looking at Aaron Kralik going to come through the top time there in the 3rd position. That's another good time for him. But Trenton Jump, again, him and Thomas Green showing the battle they've been having. He takes it to the top spot.
And the man that's been, we talk about the rivalry of Trenton Jump, Thomas Green, Danny Cochran. Those three have always been on top of one another, and that's what happened a few weeks ago at Las Vegas that gave the two his ultimate 3-race suspension. But this 11 of John Forbes has been the man who was on fire for the first half of the season, well, more so in the center of this season, went on a major win streak. And now John Forbes, he's trying to find a little bit more momentum for himself. I had a couple of off weeks these last 2 weeks, but honestly, John Forbes, probably one of my drivers really just based off of consistency to watch out for once we get to the playoffs. But first lap comes in, not going to be validated for the 11, but he'll see what he can put down here for his 3rd and final lap.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he can put himself up here a little bit farther on the board to be able to fight in this first stage heading up this race. But we'll see as he comes across the line there. Where does he jump up on the board? It looks like he'll actually to the top. John Ford is top of the board. What a time there. Perfect time to pull it out. Like you said, he's had good runs the last few weeks, but when you have 3 wins in a row, it kind of shadows those 5th and 9th place finishes you get.
Yeah, it's more so of, okay, when are you going to finish in the top 3 again? And now, why not start it with the bang here at Kansas? John Forbes, pole position, 15 seconds left in qualifying. And for all these drivers, they're set in stone. Qualifying results and qualifying overall going to be sponsored by that of Sac City Diecast. Hey, if you didn't get enough diecasts from that of Race Car Graveyard, we'll go to Instagram with Sac City Diecast. where you can go find yourself some other diecasts as well. Go onto eBay, look up Sac City Diecast. They've got, again, a variety of drivers, teams, diecast size. They've got it all for you to go find. The Sac City Diecast, thank you for being our qualifying results sponsor. And speaking of qualifying results, well, let's take a look at them as the 11 of John Forbes stealing away the action here late. The 11 taking our pole award this evening. Trenton Jump going to be in second place with Thomas Green in third. Eric Kralick's going to be in fourth with Cody Reed in fifth. Nice sixth place is going to be going to the 3 of Anthony Gaudio, as well as going to be seeing that of Isaac Shelley in seventh. Ryan Ferraro in eighth. Alexander Light, good qualifying run for the 97 in ninth place, but 10th. Justin Sipes, he needs a miracle of 2 races if he wants to make it in the playoffs.
Starting in the 11th position, it's going to be the 53 of Eric Stamp, our winner from Atlanta. Alongside him in 12th, it's going to be Kyle Rochelle. Next row is going to have Ali Fonseca in the 13th position, along with Mark Morales in 14th. 15th is going to go to the 81 Jason Tamer, right there around the cut line, trying to make it through to this playoffs. 16th is going to be the 14 of GT Arizari. 17th is going to be the 20 of Jesse Thornick. And the 18th place position is going to go to the 00 of Ethan Smith. In our final row here, rounding out the top 20 is going to be Christopher Norris and Morris Gibo.
In 21st, it's going to be that of Gregory Shaw. Cody Dorsey in 22nd with Dakota Moniz in 23rd. Tyler Dangler takes 24th with that of Kerry Tribune going to be in that 25th position. That of Joshua Free going to be in that of 26th with 27th with Logan Brakey. Carl Pooler, that of Dylan Walterman, Trevor Earhart, and finishing out our 31 drivers that are here this evening, going to be that of James Loveland. A couple of drivers we're still waiting to get gridded up. That's going to be Jesse Thornick, who finally gets logged in. Kyle Rochelle, also going to be another driver in our eyes to watch out for. And Rochelle needs to get logged in as he's going to be a driver right outside of the bubble, 17th in points. That's going to be a big margin for the 21 because if he doesn't maximize his points here this evening, finds himself only moving up to 16th, and some other drivers find themselves getting a win outside of our 16 in points, he could be still find himself being bumped out. As the field is rolling out of pit road, Zach, 150 laps for these drivers. Stage break, I know I was off last week. I was looking at this week's stage break. Lap 80, a little bit of a change up than what we've been seeing these most couple of times at these mile-and-a-half courses.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a change up here for us for that, but we'll have to see how that plays out, especially, nobody's definitely going to be able to make it there, I believe, on a full tank of fuel for sure. That's a long way to go, so we'll see what type of strategies take us to that point. But it's going to be interesting to see. But John Forbes, what a time to put him up front. And you're going to have Trenton Jump and the new look 46 out there on the outside. This is going to be, I think, a really good race here tonight again here at the NAISCC Truck Series.
Expect a lot of pack racing with it being full throttle for these first 15 to 20 laps. These drivers are going to be on top of one another, meaning that we could see some big wrecks, big mistakes. And we hope it doesn't happen early on, but you never know what you're going to find. The second to last race of the regular season. Who's making the playoffs? It's time to find out here for our 12th out of 13 races in the regular season. And we're green for the FreedomNoteBuyer.com 225, and it's going to be Trenton Jump, John Forbes, side by side down into turn number 1.
Great start up front for the 46 at Trenton Jump. He'll power to the lead using an outside line with a great, really great heads-up start with that green flag there. But as they go down the back straightaway, you see them, they're fanning out heading to 3.
They're going to be 3, almost 4 wide at times down into turns 3 and 4. And the drivers recognizing they've got to make big moves with fresh tires. They certainly can do that, but a driver that's going to be losing the most ground so far, Thomas Green, he's going in the wrong direction. A bad exit at turn number 4, and he's down all the way back to 8th place. But Trenton Jump, the better launch, that 46 leading the way as they come out of turn number 2.
Yeah, the 46 leading the way, but John Forbes using the outside line is going to power to the outside, take the lead here down the back straightaway. As you see, everybody dicing, trying to figure out what line they want to take. It looks like quickly everybody trying to look for that outside line. It is 3 wide almost there for that second position. Is Reed trying to make something happen on the 01 of Kralick, as everybody, like I said, searching for some type of grip. It looks like the outside line is what's being fought for.
Everyone's trying to figure out how to get up there, but at the same time, when everyone's in the high line, start to see these accordion effects, and that's why drivers are going to be searching for everything that they can. As drivers going to find a little bit of issues, Ollie Fonseca, Alexander Light, they're going to be up into the wall going backwards, and they're going to be actually 4 wide back for last place. Major issues for drivers further back. Walterman flies on by, but Ollie Fonseca, a driver that has shown some good consistency, he is going to be slow and now heavily damages the 24. Alexander Light already taking the toe to pit road.
Yeah, both of those drivers, major damage. And yeah, Alexander Light's going to actually take it behind the wall immediately too after that toe, and his night is over in the 97. The 24 Fonseca on pit road. This is, man, a terrible, terrible thing to see this early in the going for guys, especially Fonseca right around that cut zone as we jump into another driver right on the edge of that cut line. That's Jason Tamer.
Tamer Rainout going to be running in 11th place, getting a good view of all the action up front as their leaders have not been giving each other an inch. It has been John Forbes comfortably in the lead after getting by Trenton Jump, but Jump's now starting to head backwards, but it's side-by-side action for that second place position. 2 drivers we haven't talked about a lot in a winning form, and that's going to be Eric Kralik and that of Cody Reed, both looking strong as here's Tamer trying to set up on our Atlanta winner of that of Eric Stamp.
Yeah, here going to look to the inside down in 3 and 4, see if he can get some type of grip here as they head off before everybody else. Looking up in that high line, and you can find a little bit of clean air down there, possibly with everybody running up high too. So maybe looking for a little bit of grip there, but you can see up front now, Aaron Kralik storms to the lead on the bottom side, and that tells you right there, Aaron Kralik, he's using the tires definitely here. He is very much working them, but we'll see. You know, track position, this track is very, very vital. When it comes to one group racetrack right up against that wall, you're going to want to be up in that front lead position. You're not going to want to be stuck behind somebody, especially once you start getting closer to that wall. It's very easy for the driver ahead of you to get into that wall and then you not be able to get out of that way and run right in the back of them, collecting any damage on your race car.
And also you're starting to see a little bit of a driver ahead. That's lap traffic. That's Ollie Fonseca who's just going to ride on the inner lane, but we won't even have to worry about it. Yellow flag strikes, and it's Trevor Earhart in the 41 who's going to be on the grass on the front stretch.
Yeah, it looks like Earhart there, a little bit of a moment coming off of turn number 4 there. It looks like maybe him and Cody Dorsey got into it in the 9 machine. So, oh man, early breaks there for Trevor Earhart, but it looks like Earhart, no damage, just spun through the grass.
A little bit of push into the 9, but Dorsey going to get into the outside wall. More damage goes to the 9 machine, but the 41 spinning brings out our first official yellow of the night. Do want to give an update on that first incident that I was talking about, Ollie Fonseca and Alexander Light. Light going to be calling it a night already for that 97. It was really, it has not been his best season so far. He's been caught up in a lot of messes, and now just going to call it quits here at Kansas, set up for Richmond next week, and see how the final race of the regular season will set up as we're under our first yellow, and still, it's going to be seeing John Forbes and Trenton Jump up in our top 5, but it's Aaron Kralik that's going to be leading the way for the 0-1. This is great to see, but like you talked about, Zach, those tires on this next restart, this is going to be when things get a little bit more interesting for our leader.
Oh, no doubt indeed, this heat cycle here. If they do elect to come down pit road, this is the question, because right around this area, lap 8, would someone come down here, top off their race truck, and see if they can get something done? None of the top drivers are going to elect to do it, but we do have a few takers. Christopher Norris looks like he'll come down in the 54 machine along with Gregory Shaw. So looks like a few of the Limitless Esports drivers are going to be coming down along with Logan Brakey, Carl Pooler, another one of the Limitless Esports drivers, Dylan Walterman, Cody Dorsey was involved in that incident there, Trevor Earhart also. So a few guys involved in the incident and a few other drivers coming down. Now, I don't think many guys are going to be changing tires, just going to be topping those trucks off with fuel here.
Topping off with fuel, and also of note, I know that in other series that we call, there's fast repairs where drivers, if they get incidences, they can come into pit road and get those vehicles changed up and fixed up and get a brand new, spanking new car. Well, for this series here, for the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, there are no fast repairs. That's why Alexander Light called it a night so quickly. As drivers are pacing, hey, it gives us time to talk about some of the sponsors that we have here this evening. Going to talk about that of LP24 Clothing from the Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. If you're looking for any type of clothing with great quality, affordable prices, well, LP24 Clothing is the place to go. Whether it's hats, hoodies, t-shirts, or beanies, from what you're looking for in all colors and sizes, they've got you covered. Hey, go follow LP24 Clothing on Instagram for more information and go make your order here today. Big thanks to all the amazing sponsors. We got plenty other ones to talk about, and since the drivers are still waiting to be set up and racing here, it also gives us time to talk about our race sponsor for this evening, that of freedomnotebuyer.com. Well, freedomnotebuyer.com is a money investment and growth website that offers clients the abilities to buy equity and loans with the issues from the mobile homes. For more information, you can go get started. Head over to that of freedomnotebuyers.com today, as they have been amazing to see all the different sponsors that are attached to all these racing leagues. Zach, I think for this truck series, it's been crazy to see the amount of sponsors that have been collectively coming in to be race sponsors week after week.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't count them on two hands. The amount these guys have had. They've had so many different sponsors, and that just shows the great work that the admin group and the ownership group here has done to go out, reach out, and show their product out to their fans and say, hey, we can promote this. And they've definitely shown as producing some of our best numbers definitely here on Freaky Fest. So it's always a good time on Monday night racing here with these truck series, man. These guys always do great action. As I think our pace lights will be going out this time too, and we should be going back ready to go green. And we'll see what Kralick's done to those tires, man. I tell you, that was impressive to see him drive up to where he did to that lead position. But I'm telling you, at some point, those tires are going to come back to haunt him there by driving that hard on the bottom that early.
Well, speaking of the tires, I mean, we always talk about heat cycles. You could probably touch on that a little bit more, but is that going to be something that could help this 0-1?
It can actually. That heat cycle technically will help him more than really help the other drivers. What we fight most in iRacing, it's not really the tire work. We talk about percentages, how much tire we have used percentage base wise. But the one thing that we fight more than anything is tire heat buildup. And when these caution laps happen, you go at a slower pace, 65 mile an hour here, you're losing a lot of heat buildup in these tires. And a driver who really heated the tires up, like Aaron Kralick, to drive it to his top position, he's getting that benefit right now to cool them back down, where those drivers who may be saved, they're going to be even a little bit cooler than him and maybe struggle with the core tires here to fire off right here at the beginning. So it's always an interesting case when you get that yellow flag right here at the start of the race.
Pulling off the tires, Gaines, and we're going to have another opportunity of how these drivers are going to want to attack one another. We've already seen 2, 3, and 4 wide action. Can we go 5 wide? Let's find out. As the pace car rolls off, it's time for us to go green once again for that of the freedomnotebuyer.com. 2:25 here at Kansas, and we're green, and already Kralick's going to be getting himself moving high. He wants to get to that upper groove. Watch out for John Forbes, Cody Reed. They're going to be setting up on the inside.
Look at this great start there from Kralick. But yeah, like you said there, that inside line there with Cody Reed trying to make something happen. But he's going to have Fonseca up top there pushing the 46 at Trenton. Jump down the back straightaway. They got ahead of steam going. Is now Forbes going to try to fight for the outside line here with no one at Kralick. He's actually going to put it on the door here. Smart move by Forbes there, not to go all the way to the top of the racetrack. Put it on the door of the 0-1 if he wants to fight for this spot here down the front straightaway.
Not giving Kralick an opportunity to get back into the throttle as fast as he would want to. And now over top 5 that we're trying to split away, they're about to be closed in as the 3 and the 18. Sipes and Gaudio now getting into the mix of things as these drivers get absolutely on top of one another. And starting to hear over the radio, drivers also just trying to apologize. There is a lot of drivers just getting right on top and almost pinching each other into the outside wall. Don't want to throw each other's racers away this quickly.
Yeah, one thing you're going to see a lot of is, oh, man, a big dicey cut there to the left there for the 11. That could have been detrimental there for the 0-1 and him, but he was able to hang on to it. Now Kralick dives his nose to the inside. This is hard racing going on here on lap 14 between this group here, but one thing you will see a lot of here as this race goes on is that slide job maneuver, and it's going to take give and take from these drivers. Sometimes somebody's going to use you up a little bit here early in this race, and you might have to give a little bit not to get involved in the incident, so you'll have to be thinking here early what to give and what not to give.
And also for a front 2 of Kralick and also that of Forbes. Forbes, 4 wins. He's already locked into the playoffs. For that of Aaron Kralick, he's got such a large points gap between himself and the bubble drivers. He's actually feeling pretty confident he can make these aggressive moves, as well as for Cody Reed. That's why we've got our front practically 5 also comfortable on how aggressive they want to race around one another, because they've got that safety net knowing, hey, if we throw this race away, we're still in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a confidence builder here for them. If anything, you know, you could go out here and throw all the aggression out here and just say, hey, we're going to go as hard as we possibly can. I think that's what you're seeing, like you said, Sam. So look at this now. Credit going to try to dive back to the outside of the 11. They have just been flip-flopping back and forth here for this lead. As looks the 11 is going to get a little bit tight there. Credit going to have that outside line, is going to be able to hold that position. But it looks like the 11 going to slide back in there in front of this teammate in the 25.
As we're watching our leaders, some of our biggest movers of the night. Ethan Smith going to be the biggest mover of the drivers inside of the top 10, up 9 positions, qualified 18th, and now he is on the move. The 00 deciding to go to the inner lane because everyone else has been on the high side. It's given an opportunity for the 00 when everyone checks up. He just takes those positions away.
Yeah, and that's one thing you will see is that checkup on the high line, especially farther back in the pack like this with this 00. Ethan Smith back here around this 9th spot. You're going to have checkups on that outside line where drivers run up on top of each other and can't get on the gas and say, for sake, the guy in front of them, you know, you can't just run through them. So you'll have those checkups, and sometimes you're going to take advantage of those on that bottom line. And here early is going to be the best time to do it because the more laps we get on the tires, like I said, it is just going to get more and more dominant by that top groove. So you're going to want to be up there when it does switch on for that groove to be the dominant.
Right now, our leader's still going to be single filed out for practically our first top 5, and then it's the battle for 6. Gaudio, Ferraro going to be side by side as we're seeing these drivers finally single file out. But want to move up to our leaders and watch this action. And Zach, you can kind of touch on it a little bit more. The apron being utilized a ton here on the front stretch.
Yeah, these guys are using the apron a ton here to cut this distance. You're seeing everybody drop down except for, I've seen Isaac Shelley been the one driver who's really been staying away from dropping down there. And what they're doing is trying to cut that distance, shorten up this racetrack. Is back behind this pack. A couple drivers on the wall, along with John Forbes in the wall too. Yeah, along with him and Ferraro is there. Ferraro goes by him, but man, Forbes, a major loss of speed there from first. I mean, he's outside the top 20 now.
He's all the way back to 18th and just continuing to falter back. Also, Ferraro's going to be a driver. He's losing ground. Going to be back to 12th place before the seeing that 11. He just got slammed, stuck in the wall, but he's going to lose all this time. But now it jostles things up around that 10th place position because Kyle Rochelle, driver that's going to be our bubble driver, he's now finding himself right next to that of Thomas Green, Tamer, GT Rizari, drivers that need to have some good runs. I mean, it's nice for that of Thomas Green that he got the win last week. He's locked in the playoffs, but that momentum, he still is trying to search for consistency for the 15. It's the 21. We're right on board with that of Kyle Rochelle.
Yeah, Kyle Rochelle, also another driver, including like Thomas Green, who needs a good run. We know the speed that Kyle Rochelle possesses. He has the possibility to go out here and get race wins. So if he can just get himself into those playoffs, he can be somewhat of a factor. You know, he's had a tough season here on Monday nights. But man, I tell you what, he's going to drive up to the back bumper here, as you can see from this front camera we got here on top of this truck here, heading off into the corner. These drivers trying to find for any little bit of clean air here. As Green's going to drive it actually all the way to the bottom here, trying to find some speed.
Trying to search and find and follow as well. Utilizing the draft in any way possible are these drivers, as this field right now going to be our top 17, all still attached with the draft in some fashion. Over the wall though, oh no, just like that, big wreck, and it's going to be that of Green, Rochelle, and many others in this group that we've been watching involved with this one.
Well, folks, just seen it right there live. We talked about it earlier. Someone just gets into the wall directly in front of you, and it can happen that quickly. And man, oh man, that is two drivers that definitely didn't need that to happen. Green is going to be all right due to the fact that he does have that win, but Kyle Rochelle, major damage. This could be hurting his chances for making those playoffs.
Rochelle and Tamer both heavily involved with this one. The both drivers, Tamer comes in 14th in points, only a 14-point buffer for himself. As we take a look here from the blimp view from this of Eric Stamp's point of view, trying to get through this carnage, and already seeing that of Green, and there's also Rochelle into Tamer. Stamp trying to stay low as far as he can, but it just closes in. Hard contact with Rochelle. Well, watch out for this 10. Trying to sneak on by Trabue, and Trabue locking up those brakes, trying his best, trying to hold off. And then it's the 5 of Moniz. I mean, I take that back. That's a Bogan in the 36 that tries to sneak on by here.
Man, oh man, it's the drivers definitely having close calls there with that incident, but tough break for Eric Stamp there. You see him roll down the back straightaway, but Man, oh man, that happens so fast. Just Thomas Green gets in there a little bit too deep on that outside groove in that 15, hits the wall, and you can see how much speed and how quickly he lost the speed. And if you're Kyle Rochelle, you try to turn down and miss that, but it's almost impossible to do that. So, kudos to Kyle Rochelle for even doing as good a job as he did to get underneath him. Luckily, he was already a little bit lower than him, but it just caught him just the wrong way. And man, that is not looking good. We're gonna have some pit stops in there happening now, and definitely some strategy. Reed gonna stay out along with Trent Jump, and that's an interesting call here. I think with 5 sets of tires here tonight, 4 in pit road. I would think, most likely here from that stage, that one stage, we're going to be able to one-stop it. So I would imagine you want to maybe take a set down here. But, hey, we've seen saving sets work before.
We have seen sets work. We've also seen staying in is also backfired. It's if these drivers get into a long green flag run to the end of this stage, Cody Reed, Trenton Jump, Shelley, Smith, Sipes, and Forbes all could find themselves a lap down if they're not careful here. And so they're going to have to worry about this, as it's going to be seeing Carl Pooler going to be the first of the drivers coming to pit road, as well as Gregory Schalt just coming in for fuel. Pooler, came in actually during 16 laps ago for our first incident, and so he'll be actually staying out there in 7th in front of Gregory Schalt that came in just for fuel for the 35. Then it's Kralik and others, but an interesting call. Thomas Green looks like for fuel and potentially only 2 tires for the 15.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting call to take 2 tires there for him. So, I could see maybe the factor of not taking tires, even though he was involved in that major incident, locking the tires down. But yeah, that's 2 tires. Definitely an interesting call for that 15. Hopefully, that's going to be the right one for him here. But we'll see how this all shakes out. I'm kind of just trying to think. Maybe the 25, the 46 here, the 98. These drivers, all of them that stayed out up front here, they must think they can make it to this end of the stage here on fuel. I mean, if you aren't confident on making it, I don't see the reason of staying out here other than you are for sure that we're going to get another caution due to an incident. So, I mean, that's I would say it can be likely, but at the same time, you never want to bet on a caution. It's something as a race car driver that you don't want to have to be guaranteed for something to work out in your favor.
You absolutely don't. Do want to give a real clarification. Thomas Green actually did not take tires, just stayed in for repairs and fuel for the 15. So for Thomas Green, certainly still is going to be having those extra sets to work with. Same goes the majority of the drivers that are up front in our top 7, all waiting for when they'll take their first set of tires. It's going to be about 26 laps here as drivers getting set. Going to be 27 when we go green. But Zach, the tire difference, with it being 26 plus on these tires for the drivers up front, yes, this is our second caution. But how much of a difference is tire wear going to be for the drivers when we were just talking about heat cycle, that last caution?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting situation to see how much of a difference these tires are going to make. I actually think we're going to see a considerable difference. We were already looking at times dropping off about a second already from what they ran the start of this race. So we should see a considerable difference for these drivers, especially once on new tires. They'll be able to make a lot of moves here on the bottom. And the other drivers that have the old tires, you're going to see them trying to get up high and just stay there and hold on to what they can have.
It's time to see. We've already seen these last 2 restarts. It's been chaotic. It's been messy. We've already having 1 driver DNF. 2 are still in pit road. Kyle Rochelle, Olive Fonseca with required damage. Who else is going to be able to survive here tonight or be next on the list of carnage? Well, the pace car's off. It's time to see as the FreedomNoBuyer.com 225 is green once more. A little bit of wheel spin up front, but it's going to be Cody Reed, who's already gone.
Yeah, great start from Reed there to get the early jump. That's going to allow him to have a little bit of room here heading down to 1. But look at this. Jelly pushing the 46 and jump forward here as they head out of 2. Jump was going to look to the outside, but luckily 3 can slide up in front of him. We'll see if those tires can start to make headway here soon, but now everybody racing harder here down the back straightaway.
In this whole entire pocket of our lead pack group, these are all drivers on old tires. The first to watch out for is going to be the 0-1 of Eric Kralik, as well as going to be seeing the 3 of Gaudio. Those are going to be the 2 drivers going to be on the biggest move, but they're back in 8th and 9th position. little bit further back. They're kind of being patient. I think I would be patient because they're going to go 3 wide back here, trying to see who's going to take that 4th place position. And it's Sipes for now, but that of John Forbes battling right back. But here comes the 0-1 and the 3. They're waiting on the tailpipes of the 11.
Oh man, here comes Kralik 3 wide to the bottom using the new tires. Here comes Gaudio along with them. And you can see the difference of the new tires, just able to storm through on the bottom as everybody holding up top there. That was a great move by Sipes down into 1. But now look at this. It's going to be 2 tiers. Zari now going to the apron to drop it low. They take it 3 wide through the middle there. Is Forbes is going to be the one on that middle lane. Oh, it's Sipes
Shelly
around.
Shelly, Forbes, Esmond Ferraro, as well as Schultz. Oh no, it just continues to pile in. Well, the series is the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, and that's what we got there at that moment. A graveyard of trucks, blown engines everywhere. And for Justin Sipes, he needed to win this race and the next for an absolute chance to even point his way with his win he had earlier in the season. But that is done. The 18 is not making it to the playoffs.
No doubt indeed. Yeah, that's going to put it into those hopes and dreams for him in that 18. But, man, it all started right there with him. And just another simple thing like we've seen with Thomas Green, up into the wall on the entry to 1. Shelly nowhere to go. He's got Shaw behind him. And I think we're going to see this here as maybe a little bit actually from behind here perspective of what happened up ahead. And we'll see how these guys try to navigate through it. So we'll see, there it is. It's just that stack up, and you can't get down in time. And Shelly nowhere to go for him as Ferraro just comes through, nowhere to go for him. Also, it's just one of those things, man. It's so tough the race here at Kansas without this happening.
Ryan Ferraro going to be calling it a night for himself. And after the contact between himself and the 91, actually, that contact put the 12 a little bit airborne as we continue to see the aftermath. And all the drivers are heavily involved with this. Mark Morales Jr., Gregory Shaw, Trevor Earhart, Ryan Ferraro, as well as Justin Sipes, all with required damage. Going to have to come into pit road to get that for sure repaired. But for Ryan Ferraro, he'll be most likely putting it in the pits as Sipes is already parked it. He's done. The 18 is not going to be coming back.
Yeah, that's going to put it into his night for sure. But I got to give credit right there. Thomas Green, the 71 of Carl Pooler, I believe also the 96 that was a Joshua Freed. All 3 of those drivers coming to a complete stop up there in 1 and 2 after that wreck. And that is that's something you want to see, drivers slowing down and actually not, continuing to pile into the wrecks. And I know that's been an issue before. And it seems like those drivers, good job paying attention there. And they got themselves slowed down, not into that incident. That was pretty much, like you said, as they would say, a race car graveyard. That was a race truck graveyard.
Yeah, it certainly was. And like you said, giant credit to the drivers that were able to slow down and not run into one another. That is something that we kind of preached about during all of season 1 was, hey, let's not arc a break into a wreck and just make it worse. And all those drivers come to a stop. Hey, that's what we love to see. Drivers making sure they're not ruining their day or being involved in an incident that they really have no reason to get involved with at all. As we're on lap 31, we are closing in closer and closer to our stage break. That's going to be at lap 80 for these drivers. And Zach, already 3 cautions in 32 laps here starting out this race of 150. I mean, we know at some point this race is going to clean up because no one has fast repairs left. This racetrack is going to get cleaned up with either us having just 10 drivers or 20 raceable. And at this point, I think drivers are expecting this to get a little bit more cleaner as the run moves on.
Yeah, it definitely should. And, right now we're having all these different cycles of different tires, drivers stacked up on top of each other. And that leads to mayhem at Kansas. Let me tell you, this place would like I said, it's just an accordion effect of just when one driver ahead of you gets into the wall, the driver behind, like Shelly, tries to slow down and get his truck down to the left of him. But then you have another truck directly behind there. You can't see exactly through the truck ahead of you. It's just a recipe for disaster here when you're running that close to the wall here for as many laps as we do here at Kansas. So it's something I think we'll see a little bit more of the night goes on, but that cycle there, tire differences really stack the whole field up. So that's where you get these major incidents when this happens, instead of the 1 to 2 trucks incidents where it's just one truck bounces in the wall, he gets into a truck behind him, and sometimes it goes a little bit of caution, sometimes they keep it green. So it's always a mixed bag there. But that right there, I think, was just due to that cycle, and I think we can get a little bit more of that just due to what we've seen there. The rest of the drivers who didn't pit that first time, well, they said we're coming down this time, so they're on lap 30 instead of lap 23. This group here pits, and the first one's going to be, I believe Trenton Jump back there in the 12th position. So him and Cody Reed there, 12th and 13th. We'll see what that difference of tires does for them. It's going to be a lot less of a difference than we've seen before with their sake. But I do think if we go green to the end of this run, it will benefit them to have that tires.
Yeah, it really should. And as we're getting on the backstretch, because it was a quick little moment to talk about iRacing iFlag, one of the biggest sponsors that's joined up here with us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. iRacing iFlags, I think for a lot of the drivers, they want this. They are a proven sim racer for the best iFlag virtual flag system, which gives drivers indications of the flag state on track, as well can give you that basic visual spotters information, telling you when a driver's to your left, to your right, and when you're clear. That is information that would be very helpful here in Kansas. If you'd like to go get yourself an iRacing iFlag, use our promo code FreakyFast2022. Pace cars rolling off. Well, let's hope that if the drivers don't have their iRacing iFlag, at least they've got some good spotters to let them know where their surroundings are, because we're green here at Kansas, and let the madness start once again down into turn number 1.
Oh man, it's definitely madness. We almost had 4 wide back in the pack farther. There's Trenton Jump, Cody Reed, John Ford as that group tries to bully their way through on the new set of tires. It was almost 4 wide as they crossed the start finish line now. As they head down the back straightaway, it's a little bit more calm, but definitely trying to use the tire advantage they have while they can.
With the drivers coming in with just a slight advantage on those tires, watch out for how aggressive they are willing to be, as well as some drivers that have not been in this situation yet here this evening. I mean, watch out for the drivers that are in our top 8. A couple of them have been up front for the majority of this race, but some haven't. We got some big movers up here. Logan Brakey going to be one of the biggest movers, up 23 positions as we're riding on board with a driver that needs a great run. Tyler Dangler just holding down on the inside, and for this 19 machine, gotta say, this is make or break type of a race. He's 6 points off of our bubble position, and with having the issues of Kyle Rochelle, that could be bumping him up into that of the 17th place. And with Tamer having issues, and that opening is giving him a large spot for the 19 to potentially try to get inside of our playoff position.
Yeah, Kansas has opened the door for him to possibly get this done, and you know, this would be the first step and first check of the box for if he can exit here tonight and be able to move himself forward in points. So we'll see if he can get that done in the 19, but we have him with another driver who's having a great run and a great run through, and the one that really needs it is James Loveland here, 31st up to the 7th position. He's going to be the first driver to take on the new tires that Trent Jump behind him in that 8th position, but he's got a good group ahead of him, and we know how good Loveland is on tires. If this was going along, he could be looking to make a few spots up, maybe a few drivers ahead.
Well, the big thing about James Loveland, he's one of the only of 2 drivers that decide not to put down a qualifying lap. He had just purposely said, you know, I'm going to start in the back for this 56 team, started all the way back in the last place, and now is up to 7th. Great run for Loveland here, especially for being the fact that he is that bubble driver in 16th. He needs every point possible, and you know, if he can stay out of trouble, this is going to be a good day for himself. And speaking out of trouble, that of Morris Bogan in that 36 Nike machine, he's got to hope that he can stay out of issues, because he's been struggling to get some good finishes here since he debuted.
Yeah, definitely has been a struggle for Morris all season long. He's been either caught up in something or has made a mistake himself. So he's been trying to get a good run, and here he is finally in position for one here in Kansas. We'll see how he does with this availability here. As you can see up front, GT Azari, he's trying to make the move along with Morris G. Bogan behind there on that group, but it looks like GT will get it done, move himself up to that 2nd position ahead of Anthony Gaudio as they head down the back straightaway.
And Anthony Gaudio, another one of those drivers that's been struggling at some moments, trying to find to show his strength, as they're going to slice and dice as Isaac Shelley just barely on the apron, and that was a close moment for our leaders.
Yeah, that would raise the heart rate for me if I was in the seat of the 3 or the 14, or really the guys all behind that who saw that. So very wild moment there as Shelley pretty much on the white line as best as he could do. So that group there just squeezing on by as right on board with Gaudio. He's fighting with GT Arzari tooth and nail here, trying to hang on to this position as this group is having a great battle here. Aaron Crayley, though, continuing to show his strength. And, you know, looking back at it, he's had good success at Kansas before. I've raced with him before at Kansas, and he's been very, very good at this track. So this makes sense for him to be having this good a run as Ben GT and the three continue to duke it out.
They certainly are. And for GT Irizarry, he has been putting himself in, not purposefully, but it seems like every race, there's at least one or two drivers that he is always around that put the pressure on this 14. Either he's doing the blocking or they're blocking him. And here tonight, he loves the fact that he's up front. A little bit of strategy of when they decide to come into pit road that placed them up front. But a driver that's trying to make some big moves that came into pit road under this most previous yellow, Trent Jump. He is trying everything right now. But it seems like those tires, Zach, just a little bit too close on the wear and tear. This 46 is not climbing through the field the way that he wanted to.
Yeah, this is not playing out the way this group wanted that pitted. I mean, if you think about it, they got about an 8-lap difference, or sorry, about a 7-lap difference there, and really 5 of those laps are under caution. So, yeah, I think due to that, it's not going to be too big of a difference here. We're only about 2 to 3 laps of a difference for these guys. So you can see Trent Jump, even though he's got a lot of pace and got the tire advantage, he's not able to get this done. As it looks like he's got the 10 up ahead of him and the 56 of Loveland here. They're battling hard. As looks like he's finally going to get to the outside line, and that's where he wants to be. This is going to be the easier pass here on James Loveland, and now he's going to have to set up Kerry Trabuth. Let's go by him.
Now it's starting to get to that point, though, where you get a little bit nervous for the 46. Yes, he's finally got to the more preferred lane. With the wear and tear of these tires, it might not be the preferred place to be if these drivers start to make some mistakes, put themselves into the outside wall, and that's going to be the concern for the drivers that we're watching. As here's Christopher Norris, a driver further back in the middle of the field in 16th. Norris kind of in no man's land as he's loving the fact that he's there, but some drivers into the wall. The 91 of that, Martin Morales Jr., he saw the lap, he saw traffic closing in on him, going to be 12 laps down, just decided to dump that 91 up in the outside wall.
Yeah, and luckily he stayed up into it, and that was a great job by Martin to hold it in the wall. You know, some drivers will bounce off that wall into traffic, and he allowed the drivers there to have as much room as possible to get by. As we look back here, this is Tamer in the 71 of Carl Pooler here battling for this position, and Tamer needs every point he can get. 1 lap down right now, back in this 22nd position. He's not bound Carl Pooler for position, but he does need to try to go through and get ahead of Eric Stamp to get that lucky dog back.
Bessie Thordick going to be back here as well, just having their own type of race, trying to avoid all the carnage, and as well as Dylan Walterman going to be in 20th position. And these drivers all the way back here gain a sense in a little bit of camera time, as we are also, you know, going to be having to move back up front, because that, as we were watching the back half of the field, Trent Jump, he's found himself passing 4 other drivers. So there goes Ethan Smith to the inside, and Smith coming with a head of steam for himself, able to really close that gap over Trent Jump. Also Morris Bogan to get it, he's still holding strong in the top 5. This has been a good run for that 36 machine. The question always is going to be, how and when are those tires going to break? We've seen there, it's just been a trend of you get so close to that outside wall, it just falls apart. Will it happen here for these drivers as they continue to race on? This lead pack, 4th on back, still on top of one another.
Yeah, what a move that was by the 00 there to get in position here to fight for this. He was taking advantage of Trenton Jump battling Bogan there on that bottom side, slowed them both up, and he was able to jump to that inside, but now he's having that same scenario play out with him. We'll see if Trenton Jump tries to repay that here off of turn 2, as they had side by side again, this 00 and that 36 machine fighting strong here for a top 5 position. Is up in front, our leader into the wall, Aaron Crayley. He's slow up ahead. You're going to be passing these guys down the back straightaway. What craziness has happened here is Gaudio now going to take the lead, as I think Irizarry got into him.
And they are just going to be slicing and dicing. Talked about, we were getting inching closer and closer. Who was going to make the mistake? And it was our leader, Kralik, and contact for the lead. Irizarry into the 3, holding on his Gaudio, but that could have been a throwaway for the 3 machine. And what a save as he was on the apron.
What a save indeed that was there to hold that position. But now look at this, Irizarry going to have the top groove. That's going to allow him to take the lead, up to the lead for the 14 machine after having to dodge that 01. I thought he caught a little bit of damage there from the 01, but it looks like he was able to get slowed up enough to get by the 01 machine of Aaron Acrylic. As you look back here, now Trenton Jump was able to get by Smith, as now Forbes is going to try to get by his teammate. Now again, the 46 trying to get by Morshi Bogan. He's having a tough time with that 36 here.
Bogan's been doing a great job of that Nike machine, just holding strong on that outer lane, but the slide job move, here comes that jump, but it gives the opportunity more to that John Forbes on the inside. Same exact window and pass that we just saw just 5 laps ago of Ethan Smith, but this time it's John Forbes with the advantage.
Oh man, this is great racing here. Kansas really sets this up with that top groove being so preferred. These new tires here all trying to get by, but they just don't have enough here. We'll see, does Forbes elect to throw the slider like Jump did, but Jump really left that door open for the 36 to get back there. He was clear, but could not close it. And now we'll see again, Bogan holding on strong, and Jump's going to have to reformulate again up here on the top side.
As this is going on, just want to give an update. Don't have to switch through it, but Aaron Kralik back in 12th place. It's going to be racing around Thomas Green, 2 drivers that have gotten into the outside wall. They're hoping to potentially salvage a top 10 finish for themselves. But the battling of that Jump as well as John Forbes, these are 2 titans of this season battling against one another. And for right now, right on board with 46 to Trenton Jump, Forbes, he'll try his chance at the slide job move.
Oh, big move there done by Forbes. So let's see if he can hold on to that position. Yes, he will for now as they head down the back straightaway. Great job by John Forbes to hold on ahead of Trenton Jump, but still they have yet to get by Morski Bogan. He has been doing a tremendous job in that 36. 36 having really the run of his season here, holding off these guys on new tires.
For Bogan, it's certainly a note on it. It hasn't been the season that he's wanted since he debuted, but he has had 2 very solid runs. 9th place finish at Dover and a 12th place finish at Michigan. And as you see, John Forbes high against the wall. Trenton Jump going to be trying to get a better exit out of the corner. Not able to, backs out, slots himself back to the higher lane. He'll try to get back at this, but from Bogan, I mean, you think of Michigan, there's some small aspects that are pretty similar between Kansas and Michigan on the fact that it's full throttle for a main portion of the race, and then you got to find yourself a little bit of time of drivers trying to worry about those tires later on in the run.
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty similar racetrack in my opinion. Still, different lengths, but definitely pretty similar in aspects of how you attack them. But yeah, again, Forbes trying to make this happen. Yeah, I tell you what, the one time he got given the outside line heading off into 1 and 2, Bogan dropped it low, and Forbes drove it off in too deep, got up into the wall. But look at this, finally going to make the power move down here in 3 and 4. Maybe Bogan got a little bit tight there, wasn't able to get back to the throttle, able to get back to the outside line. But there you go, Forbes able to get it done. That was crucial for him now as he drives up to 3rd here after setting on pole, getting into the wall and really dropping far back here. Forbes fighting back hard here in this race.
Morris Bogan thought he could fight right on back, but that's actually going to be costing him 4th place, is Trenton Jump able to slide on by the 36. And Zach, I mean, when you've got a driver like Morris Bogan who's just riding on the outer lane, defending as hard as he can, that has got to be feeling a little detrimental. I mean, a little bit of just draining for the drivers that know, hey, I was racing for the lead at once, and I'm seeing those leaders pulling away.
Yeah, it's so tough. Kansas is one of those places where you can literally get down in the dumps.
Oh, Bogan's in the wall.
Oh, yeah, he definitely did just get in the wall there as he's checked up down the back straightaway here. Now is Reed going to go to the inside, Lovell, and that's going to help a lot of people, including Trenton Jump, Ethan Smith there as they all go by him now, including Logan Brakey. So that's going to really help that group as Bogan was doing a great job to hold on to that position. But maybe those tires have finally gone away, and that's really the only thing you can wait for, Sam, is a mistake. Sometimes you can't get the pass down on the inside. You just got to wait for that mistake, and hopefully when that mistake happens, you're able to react and get out of the way and not collect them.
I also want to talk about that Tyler Dangler again, one of those drivers close to the bubble, trying to make it inside of the top 16. Just got in the wall a lap ago for himself. So he's now going to recoup and try to catch right back to Christopher Norris and that Freed, who he was battling with, but losing over 2 seconds after getting into that outside wall. So for Tyler Dangler, he's going to need some mistakes, but also for all these drivers, they know at least one more yellow is coming, and that's the stage break at lap 80. So all these drivers recognizing, yes, we're starting to get into cruise control. It's starting to get to just run that outer lane, but we still have a caution, a chance to get fresh tires that will change everything after lap 80.
Yeah, that's going to shake this whole race up, no doubt indeed, for sure. Irizarry is leading out front, and the one thing I noticed about the 14, he's been running the bottom for majority of 3 and 4, so it's definitely working pretty well for him there, and he's done a good job to make it work, because even down here in 1 and 2, you're going to see him run that top groove, but down here in 3 and 4, he's been really liking the bottom. We'll see if he likes to do it this time, as Gaudiya is actually closed in just a teeny bit this last lap here. Is actually the drivers all behind these two here very much struggling for lap time. I'd have to look all the way back to Logan Ricky to have a driver anywhere near the lap times of our front two.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for Logan Brakey is he's been patient. He's been watching everyone else kind of be dueling back and forth, side by side, wearing on those tires during this whole entire run. He's been just waiting, being patient, taking each pass that he can take. Right now, Logan Brakey, second highest mover of the night, up 21 positions. It's James Loveland back in 9th place with 22. That's more than this 26, as we're still running on board with GT Irizarry on the back bumper of the 14, our leader. Like you noted on, diving it down low through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's been doing this each and every time and really using it to good avail. But I think at some point this 3 here, he's going to have a big run just like he does here on this front straightaway. What does he do with it is going to be the question. Irizarry goes up top. I think the 3 just going to elect to follow him here as they head off into the corner. And okay, what great racing between these two. Definitely something that Gaudiya needs. You know, I looked at Irizarry. He's shown some flashes of this type of pace. He's ran up front. He's had those moments like this. Gaudiya, though, on the other case, he came into the season. We looked at him as possibly going to be one of those drivers that could break through as one of those new drivers. Just has not had the case. Doesn't even have a top 5 to his name yet in the first 12 races here, including tonight. So, I mean, man, if he's able to come out here and get a win, this could be a huge statement for somebody back at 11 points. If he goes to the outside here in 1 and 2, this could be his chance.
Finally able to get to the outside, but not able to clear just yet. Now he finally does. Side by side down the backstretch, and that of Gaudiya finally able to clear and taking the lead position. Last time he was here, it was GT that gave the 3 the bump on that of the front stretch. Got him out of control for a quick moment. Now the rebound to come up, and now we'll see how much speed the 3 is going to have to be able to pull away, as Irizarry is going to be in 2nd place, but I'm looking back at 3rd, John Forbes. He's been slowly starting to find some speed, but that's just because the pass was made. The 11, he's got to be a little bit careful because he's been really close to that outside wall, closer than anyone else that I've been watching, and especially with the fact that we still have over that of 17 laps to go here this evening first, or before we get to our stage break. That's plenty of time to make a mistake with the tire wear that's coming on.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely plenty of time for him to make a mistake. And, you know, this is a risk versus reward track. This is a place where if you want to go quicker, you got to get closer to that wall, especially on these long runs. So, I mean, if you're John Forbes, he's got those 4 wins. He knows he's locked in. I think the risk versus reward, he's doing full risk. As we've seen already, he's gotten to the wall once. So it's already proven that he's willing to go up there and get into it. But when you go up there that little bit more every single time, it's just a little bit more speed up there. You're able to carry that a little bit more, and it's proven right now is even that tire advantage. He's one of the only drivers who has that tire advantage that's actually making pace with the leaders up front. So good on John Forbes right now as he continues to try to close this gap down to those leaders.
Trying everything possible at this point to close it in, and the rest of the field, they certainly have been racing, but if there's a cluster of drivers that you're getting slightly nervous about, it's from 6th on back, being led by Logan Brakey, Reed, as well as Bogan, Loveland, Tribune. Also, the 0-1 of Kralik, who got into the wall, was leading this race before he did so. It's going to be that of 6th back to 11, all in this train that are on top of one another.
Yeah, you definitely got a train up here on this top groove, and again, that's where you get those scenarios of the accordion effect. If one of these drivers up here was to get into the wall, it's going to be all the drivers up ahead, behind the driver behind, to make that heads-up call to be able to slow down in time. So hopefully nobody here gets up into that wall, but this group still nonetheless battling here for these final few spots in this stage. I mean, if you look all the way to the back end of this line, it's Kerry Trabue and Aaron Kralik. And Kralik is right on the outside there in that 11th position. If he wants to get those stage points, he's going to have to look to go up there and get this position.
Trying to do a little bit of a slide job move, but it's not going to be as easy as what we've seen some of the leaders. A lot more spacing going on for these for the leaders. They're able to make the slide job move, not worry about there being not a big enough gap to come in front of the driver in front. But here comes the 0-1. He's hoping that the gap between Loveland and Tribune doesn't close in. It does. and has to back out of it. And as they continue to battle on, that Thomas Green, Dakota Moniz, they're starting to figure out how to close in on these drivers.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, those two right behind them starting to close it down too. They want to have a chance at stage points, especially if they start battling up here. So great job by Moniz and Thomas Green, especially, both these drivers who had fantastic runs last week.
That they did. And right now for Dakota Moniz, I mean, this 5 comes in. He's doing everything possible, comes in 12 in points. He's got a decent buffer of 24 points coming into the night. So honestly, could be just going for a good top 15, top 10 finish. It's going to be good enough for himself as the laps continue to tick away. 12 laps to go here in stage number 1 for these drivers. And the battling for the lead is still hot and heavy as Gaudio, Irizarry, they are on top of each other still. But John Forbes has closed it in. He was 1.1 seconds back. He's now 0.3 back. The 11 is certainly making things close, but that pack we were talking about, they scattered back in 10th place. It is drivers getting into the wall. It's Bogan and others. They're losing ground. 2, 3 wide. And here we go down into turn number 3.
Oh, man, Thomas Green taking advantage of that. And along with Dakota Moniz, these two trying to drive themselves up into stage points here as this is getting wild here in the final few laps of the stage.
Just late in the stages, you had about 6 drivers on top of one another. You knew one mistake could be costly, and it certainly changed things up. Is Tribune now going to be in that 10th spot? And Loveland's in the wall. Tribune as well needs to get in the wall to get out of the way. And it continues the spiral for these drivers as we get closer to the end of stage break.
Oh, man, this has definitely gone from bad to worse for a few of them, especially Loveland. He got major nose damage on that truck. I'm wondering where he caught that from. It must have been someone getting in the wall there from before. And it was Bogan getting into the wall before. And, the caution has come out. I guess that might be the stage.
I'm guessing that's the stage break as it was thrown out by the admins. And I think there could have been a little bit of confusion by the admins based on also what was on the schedule. As that is with race control over the radio, that is the stage break. So drivers under different knowledge than we were given there, as with that stage break, it's going to be Anthony Gaudio taking the maximum bonus points of 10 bonus points for himself, with Irizarry, Forbes, Smith, Jump, as well as Logan Brakey, that of Cody Reed, Aaron Kralik, that of Thomas Green, and Dakota Moniz. Your 10 drivers getting the bonus points here at the stage break for these drivers. We're going to step aside, though, when we come back. More racing action here at Kansas on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Drivers, start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen.
No rear grip whatsoever, up sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
I'm excited to present the 1987 Buick LeSabre. It's the latest addition to the iRacing NASCAR Legends series. Along with recent updates to aerodynamics and performance, the 1987 cars are as fun as ever to drive. From Daytona to Martinsville, you can experience what it's like to be behind the wheel of one of these legendary rides. See you on the track.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as it is the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, race number 12 of 13 of the regular season, to see who can make the playoffs here this evening. A little bit of confusion on when the stage break was, as we were given notes extremely late, and it was changed up from on our schedule set 80, then it was actually to 70, and that was the correct stage break for these drivers, as it was Anthony Gaudio going to get himself those maximum stage points, but John Forbes, under pit stops, actually able to gain a move up to first place. Thank you for joining us again here tonight, as these drivers are going to be finding themselves getting set up for racing action, as we're here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and Robert Moyer gonna be our producer here this evening, as the drivers are getting ready to go green here shortly.
Well, that was an interesting little bit of a ending to the stage, with Gaudio taking that win there, Sam. And man, I tell you what, Forbes though winning the race off pit road. This is he was flying there at the end, so I'm gonna be interested to see what he can do with some clean air here possibly. And man, it's setting up to be a heck of a battle. And I just want to see, was the battle in there between those guys when the newer tires with the older tires burned up a few of those guys, such as Trenton Jump, and maybe they'll have a little bit better long run pace here on this next run. So we'll see what happens, but definitely those top three, they were looking pretty quick.
They certainly are, and now with everyone on equal footing, now the question is, who will emerge out of this group? Also giving these drivers a little bit of time to get damage repairs done. Thomas Green, Bogan, all coming into pit road. Loveland, Pooler trying to get those repairs done for themselves. Isaac Shelley going to be the most recent driver to put it in the pit roads, with Gregory Shaw, Sipes, that of Earhart, Ferraro, and Light. Who will be the next? Or can we survive to the end of the race? Because we are green here at the halfway marker of the FreedomNotesBuyer.com 225. Heading down into turn number one, a little bit of a squeeze as we're 2-3 wide, and it's Smith. Watch out for the 0-0. He holds on for now, but certainly could have been a big one.
Oh man, what a wild restart there. I think Smith definitely helped with the timing of his teammate up front with the 11, giving him that timing. He jumps to the inside, and he was inside of Gaudio, but that was just barely anything inside to be able to make that type of move, and that got real close there. Could have been a major incident, but they keep it green now as you're seeing a bunch of battle. And the guy who lost out major in that, I gotta say, is the 14 GT Zari.
Irizarry going to be back in 7th place, but at least he's on the high line for now, as he'll be trying to defend over that American Kralik. But it's going to be Logan Brakey stuck on the inner groove, and now for the 29, he's got a train of drivers all ready to get by him. If he cannot clear Cody Reed, Logan Brakey's in a very precarious spot. He will clear, and here comes Irizarry to the inside of the 25.
Yes, he does, to the inside. Irizarry had a great run in that stage there, trying to make that track position back up as he follows him through, does make the position. Look, there's Kralik. He had that major incident, got up into the wall. He's trying to get the pass done down the inside of the 25.
These drivers all racing as hard as they can, and for Cody Reed and also for John Forbes, it makes sense they're being this aggressive against one another. You think back to Las Vegas, our top 5 from that winning results were put into the raffle of our Mo 5 Cast event. And then for the Mo 5 Cast, one of the drivers inside of the top 5, if they win here tonight, cash given to themselves, $25 prize, but they have to win. And those 5 drivers, Talmadge, Forbes, Loveland, Reed, and Tyler Dangler, are going to be those 5 drivers, but it's been that of John Forbes and Cody Reed that have been looking like the odds-on favorite between all 5 of those drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle to the end for those drivers in that MoCast 5. But I tell you what, the interesting battle right now, I think, is that lead as Gaudio trying to make something happen. He's been fighting on that inside and doing stuff, but here he comes again, fighting back. Look, he will take a look to the outside. That was a late move there. That could have got a little interesting there. Now a little bump and bang. This is getting a little wild up front. His jump's going to close in with these 2 battling up here for the lead.
Trent Jump, a driver that potentially, if he had won at that Las Vegas race, he could have been a part of this MoCast 5. Instead, he could be the driver trying to steal it away. Gaudio trying to hold down on that inside lane. John Forbes going to be moving up, still at the quarter panel, keeping him side by side down the front stretch. But that 46 always going to be looming for an opportunity to win as they're squeezing once more. It's that of Gaudio. Forbes side by side for the lead through 3 and 4. We're on lap 81, and these laps ticking away. 70 laps to go here tonight.
Another crossover coming here down the back straightaway. Big run for the 11 as the 3 was able to slide up in front of him. 3 looks to drive it down to that quarter panel, but the 11 drives it deep enough to slide up in front of him. Great racing from these two. As Gaudio showing a lot of fight here, trying to get this win here tonight. Look, he's going to look to the outside down the front straightaway. Great move to get to that quarter panel. He'll not have the positioning heading into 1 and 2, and he keeps it on that quarter panel. What a run into 1.
John Forbes a squeeze. He's coming up. He's just drifting up, trying to force the 3 to get right into that outside wall potentially, or force them to at least back down. They're still right on top of one another, and this hard racing for the lead, it's been going on for quite a long time. Without a trend jump, I think he might have gotten into a comfort zone of, I'll just let you guys race it out. I'm going to give you plenty of space because I can sense this could go badly in just a blink of an eye.
Oh, no doubt indeed, Sam. I think you're exactly right about that. Trent Jump sits in the perfect position. If he goes out here, he can really watch these guys battle, and they won't even pull away from him here, and he could save some tire. That'll really help him. But look who's behind him now also. That's going to be GT Irizarry. He's been on the move himself up to that 4th position, along with Kralik back up into the top 5. Great rebound for that 0-1.
Yeah, and right now for GT Irizarry, he's just pulling along that 0-1 of Kralik. And Kralik, he's loving this. He's slowly had to march his way through. He finally found someone that he can get attached to, and they're now on the go to try to catch up to our front 3. They'll continue to race this one out. A couple of drivers, though, further back in the field, just want to give note of Cody Reed. He is falling back into the clutches in the middle of the field. That 25, who was looking so strong early on, he's starting to find some issues. He's got Norris and Freed trying to get by this 25.
Yeah, fastest man in practice, but just has not won his way in the race tonight. So unfortunate for that 25 Reed, who's going to get passed by Joshua Freed there in the 96. There is now Norris going to take a look to the outside, but doesn't have enough of a run to get there, as this little group going to continue the battle here heading off into 1.
Trying their best to figure out who's going to be where, and also coming to the inside. That's going to be James Loveland, who found himself into the outside wall. Loveland, who is coming into the night as our bubble driver, just 2-point advantage over that of Kyle Rochelle, 6 points over Tyler Dangler, and 9 points over Ollie Fonseca. Got to say, the bubble between Loveland and Rochelle and Fonseca certainly is going to grow a little bit more because of the issues that both those drivers have had. But right now, got to give credit to this as well as the 20, Jesse Thornick. Thornick's been a driver that has, in previous races, going up just when qualifying starts, and then he'll start in the back and climb his way forward. This has been a decent run for himself here in the middle of the field in 15th, but he's close, it's heavy, it's bumping, it's banging, and right now, Loveland, he's being passed by Norris.
Yeah, Loveland trying to get his way back up there. He's got a good, they fixed that truck up pretty well. He got up into that wall and even got in the back of Morsi Bogo, and Bogan got into the wall. So great job by Loveland and his crew to get that thing fixed back up. As this 3 wide there, as Reed up top's going to lose out. Norris going to take that position, but now we'll see if Loveland can try to continue forward. We know Loveland has a lot of speed and a lot of pace on old tires, but just has not had the season he wants. He's trying to make his way up as, I think Eric Stamp there up ahead of him is having some trouble there in that 53.
Well, Eric Stamp, he's now going to be 4 laps down. He's been struggling, and he touches the apron, gets up into Loveland. Loveland needs to give a little bit of space, and that just squeezes everyone up in the outside groove. Luckily, plenty of space for everyone to sort themselves out, but, oh man, you hate when you see a lap car just have one little bobble that changes the faction of the group and pack that you're racing around. Almost seeing those drivers wiping each other out, but luckily, like I said, plenty of space. It really does now get single filed out. I think that might have been an awakening call of, all right, let's calm down for a bit.
Yeah, that was a little bit close there. As that can be sometimes a lot of traffic. So not surprised to see. Bogan almost trying to slide up into that hole that was not there. And Loveland, you got to be thinking that damage on the back end of Bogan came from Loveland there. As Bogan got in the wall, Loveland's probably not going to want to be lining up behind that 36, hoping that that same scenario doesn't play out. But Bogan, again, on the short run, showing his pace, using those tires up. But maybe will look to be struggling here as that run continues on, or can he find a solution for that?
Throw it down, try to do the slide job move over that of Cody Reed, and looks like he'll be plenty of clear. And as he's clear, we got to move up to second place because that battle is raging on. John Forbes has been caught by that of Trent Jump. And guess what? It's GT Irizarry trying to take 2 for 1 through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, we got to remember the big thing about the last run was there was a tire difference between the 3 and that 14. They had worse tires than these two right here, the 11 and the 46. and they were able to stay ahead of him. They were the only two able to do that, and it's showing right here is, man, GT Irizarry in that 14. He's been running that bottom all night, and it's showing his strength right there to be able to do that. He can make passes when other drivers cannot.
That last lap, it was going to be Aaron Kralik, going to be the fastest driver of our top 5. Almost out of a full 10 over our leader and everyone else, but Kralik's going to be trapped with that of Ollie Fonseca, who's a lap down driver, slow but doing his best. And Ollie over the radio going to say he's going to get out of the way potentially here as drivers picking and choosing the battle for second place. It's John Forbes' aerial view, but GT Irizarry comes down low, pushes up the 11 side by side for second place, and GT, he's hoping that he can get the sled job done here into turn number 1, because if he doesn't, he's going to wear on those tires even more.
Yeah, running this bottom line here in 1 is not what you want to do. You want to be able to run up top. I think he's liked it down in 3 and 4 be on that bottom, but 1 and 2 you can see there just too much pace from that 11 up top. He's going to try to pull a little side draft here and see if he can make something happen here in 3 and 4, but he's going to have to be patient here and work this 11 over if he wants to get the job done. But he can see that 3 getting smaller and smaller in that front windshield. But the big thing you got to think about, there is still going to be one more pit stop left in this race. And this racer right here is looking great. Is now look at this straight jump. He's sizing him up.
We're looking at that of lap 110 to 120. Could be the window of when we think these drivers could come into pit road as they continue to race on. Issues for drivers further back. James Loveland gets into the outside wall. Had some internet woes in the 56, slow on the apron on the backstretch, and finally going to try to get up to speed, but he has lost over that of 6 positions with that incident as we go back up to the battle for second place. I hate to see that for a driver that's needing every point possible to have a good buffer going into Richmond next week.
That is terrible to see for James Love, and hopefully he can rebound from that. As behind this group right here, Dritten jumping to the wall in the 46. He's going to lose a lot of time. That's going to allow Kralik, and along with the lap car, possibly Fonseca going to wait behind, being very respectful as a lap machine there, and going to hold back as now Kralik moves up into that top 4 position. But man, jump, he's been quick tonight, had some pace, but just has not had that same pace he's shown at most racetracks this season.
He certainly has not. It's the drivers starting to get themselves into a place of single file roaring around. Well, it gives us a little bit of time to talk about another amazing sponsor, that at ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. ButtKicker has really been the place that if you want to go find yourself to maximize your enhancement of just feeling completely intertwined with your sound, well, why not feel the sounds as well? Get yourself a game or two, attaches to your rig, and it just makes the movements and rattles your cage like you are in a V8 vehicle or in any other ambient area. It just allows to just only get you into the mode of what you're watching or playing. Go get yourself a game or two from ButtKicker using our promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Hey, you got your iFlag, your iRacing iFlag, you got yourself your ButtKicker. Well, go make sure that you also start things off with Advanced Sim Racing. You can get your racing chassis as well as your monitor stands, steering wheel. They've got it all to make sure your rig is set up, and get the attachments. Get your iRacing iFlag as well as the ButtKicker. Attach that and you are fully set up and ready for iRacing action. Thank you to both all 3 of our sponsors, and for Advanced Sim Racing, again, use FreakyFast5 when getting 5% off at your purchases. As the drivers are racing around, we're going to let you see and feel, as well as we're going to go on board with these drivers, get a sense with Eric Kralik, as well as here. If you got yourself a ButtKicker, hey, we're going to ramp things up and get things situated for these drivers as you get to feel what it's like. Well, we talked about ButtKicker. Well, let's get a ButtKicker quick it up here at Kansas. was your ButtKicker Crank It Up, and drivers have been having issues. You saw it live at the start of our Crank It Up. That of John Forbes, Eric Riley, they're going to make contact with one another as we are here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, Robert Warrior running the productions. And Zach, that is for John Forbes, Kralik, that is some heavy damage for both of those drivers.
Yeah, both those drivers going to definitely be hurt from that situation for sure. As I believe Forbes is trying to pull a slider on the 14 GTR's already got a little bump from the rear, put himself up in the wall from that bump from the 14, and then from there, the 01 Aaron Kralik collects him in the rear end later off the exit, and man, both those drivers get checked up by that. That's going to put them both back in 7th and 8th position right now. As they're going to be looking to hang on to what they can here. Luckily for both those drivers' sake, they're good in points, so they won't have nothing to worry about there, but their definite chances of winning here have possibly gone out the window as Gaudio continues to stretch his lead. This battle back here, though, around Forbes here for this 8th position has been wild.
You going to be heavily trying to make every position and hold off that 11, as well as going to watch out for that of Morris Bogan, who's going to be about 0.8 seconds back, but waiting for any type of issue to pop up, and he'll just take that advantage as move up into 5th place is where we find the 5, Dakota Moniz, as well as Trent Jump, to be battling with one another, and it's the closest battle of the drivers that are in this top 5 scenario, but gotta say, from 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they certainly have been together. This of Ethan Smith and Dakota Moniz, Trent Jump, the newest band to this group, and Dakota, he's gonna brush that wall. That's not where you want to be for that 5, especially because we're closing in to these pit stops here shortly.
Oh no, yeah, that was unfortunate. I was literally just gonna bring up about how great a run he was having in that 5 machine. And I tell you what, again, after Charlotte last week, he showed up there. He showed up once again here, even though he's gotten to the wall there. He's still holding on to his 5th position, but yeah, he was looking for more there. He had Ethan Smith and Jump right there ahead of him, and that would have been fun to see that battle a little bit. As we look back here to the 19 of Tyler Dingler, and still back here around that 17th position, Sam. He's going to need to gain a few more positions, I feel like, to really help build that buffer zone for him, especially for the drivers who've had trouble.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for Tyler Dingler is the fact that we've seen James Loveland get in the wall multiple times and officially has parked it. The 56 is back in 23rd position, could be even moving back to 24th or further back to 25th. So Loveland, this was not the day he wanted at Kansas. Also, update for Atlanta winner, that of Eric Stamp. He's going to finish back in 21st for now, but he could be losing another 2 to 3 positions on top of that with some of the drivers that are still running on course. So this, it's not over yet on where things are going to be lying after this race, but certainly these points are going to be a lot more closed in still, even with, seeing that Tyler Dangler get a couple of positions, and he should be the driver bumped in to our top 16, unless we see some driver that's not in our top 16 get a win. GT Azari is that driver we're looking at.
Yeah, that could be the question. Could he get it done here tonight? I mean, he's definitely had lap times in the last few that were quicker, but the last 2 have been slower than Gaudio, and it's about a 2.3 second gap. But we still have that pit stop to happen, and those are looming. I think really the farthest you're probably going to see a lot of these guys try to stretch it is possibly 120. I wouldn't say you want to go probably any farther than that, but I say that window is definitely opening up here around that next lap of drivers possibly taking advantage of a little bit of an undercut here. So we'll see what they elect to do. Is look at this Bogan here when battling Kralik. This is for that 7th position, and Bogan's had an up and down night, but looking to finish it off strong here, trying to get by Kralik.
And right now, it's his best finishing. The race finish now would be his best finish of the season for this 36 Bogan. And right now, seeing a driver that was one of our, honestly, 3 drivers that were favorites that this 36 is racing with. You got Kralik that was dominating the first half of this race, and then you've got that of Thomas Green, John Forbes. Those 2 drivers at one point were also threats to win. Now everyone's just thinking, I just want to stay in the top 10 at this point.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of game plans right now as people just damage a limitation here from the rest of this race. And that's one thing about Kansas. Like I said, it's a risk first reward racetrack. You can go up and find more time. It's sitting there right in front of you. But you got to have that risk to go and try to get it done. And sometimes when you risk it, you get taken out and you get damaged. So as you see Kralik here battling Mirror Green early in this race gets up into the wall. Hasn't really ever rebounded for that, but still a solid night there if he can just continue to run in that 7th position. And got Bogan right ahead of him, so 6 is on the table also.
And as this is going on, you might be wondering what happened to John Force. Well, himself and his teammate of Ethan Smith both could have been in pit road as Bogan into the wall, opening, and there goes Kralik and also Thomas Green side by side into turn number 3. But the teammates of Force and Smith both in pit road, fuel and tires. They're splitting this stint in half as here comes now that of Kralik and others behind. That's going to be Jesse Thornick who follows the 0-1 into pit road.
Yeah, smart call if you're a driver with damage out there. Go ahead, come down, get some of that repaired at least here while those tires are getting changed. That'll help you a little bit for your scenario. We'll see. When does Gaudio elect to do it? That's going to be the big question in my mind. And when does he come to pit road? Because he's still building a gap right now. If I was him, I would to keep stretching this a little bit to have that little bit of advantage. Also, not to get caught pitting here while a caution could possibly come out.
That caution certainly is going to be the thing that could change everything. As Dakota Moniz, Trabue, both going to be coming into pit road this go around. But a thing also I'm curious is with the drivers that are coming into pit road now, they're going to be running about 2 seconds faster than what Anthony Gaudio is putting down currently. So for the drivers that are coming in, this is a massive bump up if they're able to put down some screamer lap times to try to at least catch up, which that's really what they're looking for, is to catch up or get just a net gain after this undercut of a pit stop.
Yeah, we'll see which strategy is the right call. And, you know, it's always like I'll have to steal it from you said, you know, it's getting that perfect timing right in the middle. You know, some drivers will cut it here a little bit short. Some drivers are going to cut it a little too long. But somebody somewhere is going to get this exactly right. And at some point, that's going to show here in time-wise when it all ends in this race if we continue this thing to win. And that's the beauty of pit stop sequences. You can this could be the biggest, most crucial thing to end this race, even though we've got sizable gaps in between each of these drivers.
Good old Goldilocks effect as Cody Reed having the next driver into pit road. He's going to need to watch on the back bumper of the 15 of Thomas Green and gain a sense of how he's running this here tonight. Thomas Green has gotten in the wall. You see that Bogan trying to also just get aggressive there on the outer lane and trying to maximize the speed any way possible. But for our leader of Gaudio, Irizarry, jump. There's quite a big gap between first back to fourth. I mean, 11.2 seconds. That is a major gap, especially being 43 laps into this run.
It really, really is. That is a giant, giant gap that we've seen build up. I mean, personally, you know, we were used to seeing, I feel like, a little bit more of a close race at tracks such like mile and a half like this with these trucks. I mean, we know Kansas, it's very close to the beginning of these runs, but these drivers have spread out a little bit more than what I've been used to personally with this package. I don't know if one of these latest updates has made a change with these trucks or not, but man, it's definitely seeming a little bit more spread out and a little bit more down to drivers' individual pace.
All of our front four, Trenton Jump, now going to be hitting pit road, as well as going to be seeing his teammate exiting pit road of Logan Brakey. I think also another thing, you know, to note on the difference and the gap being built out as big as it is, the damage also is, I think, the big factor that's going to be the main reason why we were starting to see a little bit of gaps in the beginning stage of this race. But that damage, we've seen a lot of heavy contenders getting into that outside wall or being involved in wrecks that they were hoping they weren't going to be involved with.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great point to bring up too. You know, right side damage is
no!
the caution's out. This is exactly what these guys didn't want to see, and that's why you stay out if you're Gaudio.
And it's going to be Cody Dorsey in the 9, going to be spun around. And drivers talking about the incident, and it looked like that was right around Bogan, Thomas Green in the 9, all involved with this one. As we take a look at this instant replay, a little bit of over the radio drivers saying it could have been, you know, quote unquote, what I call the wind and the air factor of these drivers. But Bogan certainly was very aggressive on that exit. I don't think it mattered if there was that little bit of a bubble of the air movement to the 9 or not. He was going to hit him either way.
Yeah, I think that contact was inevitable, no doubt, indeed, between Bogan and the 9. But yeah, it's a common scenario when you get that close there. You'll have that little bit of an arrow effect, you know, and we'll get these situations like that. So unfortunate for Dorsey there, he goes spinning around. But man, this has changed up the whole scenario, especially for drivers such as Trenton Jump. I mean, I look back into Fartherham, John Forbes, Ethan Smith, all laps down Dakota Moniz that hit pit road. Now going to be having a tough time here looking to have to take a wave round.
They're going to take the wave around, and for those drivers, though, the big thing I think for Trenton Jump is he just got into pit road, so he doesn't really even have a lap of true green flag racing on these tires. He's going to be okay, but for the rest of the drivers that are coming in, this is going to be that of Gaudio, GT Arizari, Green, Bogan, Norris, all going to be coming into pit road, keeping them up front. And for that of Norris, this is going to be an interesting place for that 54, who's been riding around 12th most of this race. He's now going to have an opportunity to try to stay up in the top 5.
Yeah, I look at that too, and look no farther. Also, Dylan Walterman, also, I believe he's in a predicament where he may have to take a wave here, also. But that one, he could be in a good little position here. But that 54, I mean, we've seen multiple times he's been in position this season to get possibly a top 3. But tonight, it could be looking to get another top 5, possibly added to the books for him if he can. But, you know, Christopher Norris is, I don't want to jinx him. That's the biggest thing I don't want to talk about, because it seems like every time I talk about the 54, something goes wrong.
Hey, I'm the one who brought it up, so I'll take that one if it does happen. Do you want to talk about Joshua Freed, though? He did come in and with our leaders, but he came down into pit road right when the yellow was thrown. So right when he was about to enter, the pit road closed and he had to take a penalty doing a drive-through. So right now, Freed is trying to go over the radio to plead, but this has been a known penalty of if you come in, you usually don't get that black flag cleared. But a little bit of a inconsistency was thrown out here tonight. Freed, he's going to get that black flag cleared.
Well, lucky him, I guess, this week. He's going to get it cleared. So definitely an interesting scenario there. But, well, he'll be the lucky one on that end tonight. But, man, I tell you, I was talking about Christopher Norris and, getting the possible top 5. If he could pull that off, that would be definitely a huge one for him, because he does look all the way back to season 1 for where he got 2 4th-place finishes there, once at Las Vegas and Daytona. So this season, yet to get that top 5. Norris is going to be looking to try to get that done here, maybe at Kansas.
And as the drivers get ready to go, just another note on that Joshua Freed incident. I got to say, his pleading and his, trying to swindle his way out of this, did a great job getting that black flag cleared. He'll now be up in 5th place. This meaning we're going to put 2 drivers that were running back in 13th and 14th position up in 5th and 6th. So we'll see how the rest of the field can go through this traffic and try to survive. But this is when things get interesting, the most fun. 30 laps to go at this point. Zach, we had a very, chaotic big 3 wrecks to start out this evening with our first 30 laps of this race. The final 30 laps, I presume it's going to be pretty similar to how the first 30 laps started.
Oh, I tell you, they say history repeats itself, and I'd hate to say it, it's probably going to happen again here. This is going to get really wild. I expect to see a lot of sliders being thrown. Guys are going to be using every bit of this tire down to the end. And I tell you what, GT, Anthony, both going for their first career wins here in the truck series, the Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. I mean, really, looking at our top 4, none of them have got a win in the truck series here so far. And I mean, looking back to 5th, I mean, he just got his first win last week. So it is one of those scenarios where these guys are all hungry for to be in this situation and try to get this win. And we're also going to have some hungry drivers back there in that wave around scenario that are going to be stuck behind guys on older tires that are going to be trying to maneuver themselves. This is going to be a wild restart here, if I have to say so.
It certainly is. It's going to be our top 7, going to be on the freshest of tires to work with from that of 8th on back. All had to take the wave around to get back for some up back onto the lead lap. That's going to be back in 17th where Trenton Jump lies. Drivers are going to be on the lead lap. Then it's Tamer, Dorsey, Pooler, Rochelle, and Martin Morales Jr. that are all going to be a lap down or more as we get prepared to go green. Less than 30 laps to go. This is the penultimate race of the regular season, and it's time to see who's going to get it done. The freedomnotebuyer.com. So 25 is green once more, and it's Gaudio. Best launch you could have asked for, but it's going to be everyone else from second on back on top of one another, and black flags all being clear. We're going to be finding ourselves down at turn number 2. The madness begins. Who's going to be able to get by our leader?
Yeah, let's see who can get this done. Gaudio was able to get out way to the front here. as they all head off into 3. All of them go drop to the bottom here on this first lap, trying to find the grip level here as they come out at 4. And we're going to see what these drivers, guys who ride on board with Norris here in that 5th position.
And now for our leaders, for our front 7, they've got a great launch for themselves. Big advantage. Why? That of Ollie Fonseca, because everyone had to take the wave around. They all had to go to the end of the line, and the lap machine of the 24 was actually the one slowing down some of the drivers further ahead. As here's side-by-side action for the 3rd place position. That of Morris Bogan, he did his best, but he's going to go high. There goes Thomas Green, making the pass and back into 3rd.
Great move there by Thomas Green here, taking advantage of early tire usage here to run that bottom side and get that position. It's been a tough night for him after getting in the wall early in this race, but he could bounce back here, and this is exactly the runs he needs to have. This is how you show what you have when you go into the playoffs. It's not the days that you always have a perfect, clean race. It's the days that you bounce back from the mistakes.
We've seen plenty of mistakes for the 15 that have cost him getting so many top 5 positions, so many wins thrown away, and now he's starting to hit the right move at the right time as single file for everyone that's up in our top 10. But all the madness crashing from that 10th place position. Drivers going 2, 3 wide, lap traffic everywhere. If we're going to see a yellow, it's going to be right here. Trumpew forcing the issue. Norlick going to be pushed. He's going to be sliding. What a save by the 20 as we stay green.
How did Jesse Thornick just save that? I think he got a little help possibly from the wall to save that. I don't know. He did that masterfully. And Eric Kralick's the one who really won out of that. He gets by all that group there on the bottom. Oh, look at this close action. Almost get too close to 1. They're really close on the door as they head through the tri-oval. This is really crazy action back here. And like you said, if we get a yellow, this is where it's coming.
And you're going to be seeing that trend jump. He's now going to be boxed in on the outer lane. Hoping Treview's going to be moving in the right direction. Not going to happen. Logan Brakey's going to be able to slide his way. Nope, not clear enough. As Dylan Walterman, once again, just that one spot and position he hasn't been in for most of the night. He is now trying to force the issue to race with these drivers with a chance to finish in the top 10. Dylan Walterman in the 1. He certainly is giving it all here late with these laps, continuing to tick away. Trebew, Logan Brakey, they almost make contact again.
Yeah, and look at this. You're also seeing the 46 come up into the picture there on the top side. That is Trenton Jump there trying to make his way back on those tires from this wave around. And man, oh man, this racing right here is so close as Forbes able to hold that top side. Kralick, though, trying to get it done. And look at the pushing and the shoving going on down the back straightaway, trying to get their line to move forward here as Kralick tries to get it done. Look at Forbes there with this cheeky little side draft off the exit of the corner.
But it's Logan Brakey who gets the best run. They're going to now get force it 4 wide down the front stretch. Who's going to take this position? 9th place goes to Logan Brakey. We're going to try 4 wide again for 10th. And Jump Force drifts it, holds on. And another amazing save into turn number 1 for a different driver.
What racing right there. That was amazing to see. The driver who took the most advantage of it, Brakey and Jump. They just did a masterful job to run the inside line. Brakey gets the pass done on the bottom on the apron, and Jump took advantage 4 wide in the 1 and was able to clear a couple of them, but Trebew fights back on the outside.
Trebew is in that preferred lane. The longer this race goes on, that 10 is going to be loving where he's at. Before these drivers, for Logan Brakey, Trebew, Jump, they're still 1.3 seconds off of that of Dakota Moniz, but a full 7.1 seconds off our leader. They're so far back, they're going to need another yellow if they want to get in the mix of things for their win.
Oh, no doubt. This is the win has gone out the window for a few of these guys. It's just get back what positions you can here if you're Trenton Jump in this 46, trying to fight by the 10 of Trebew. He now looks to the outside of Trebew, opens that up. That's exactly what I think Trenton wanted to see, but Carey's going to close that door here on the entry of the corner. But I think, yeah, Trenton Jump going to try to size him up here and make something happen as he's right on the back bumper through the corner. That gets so hairy there. As up ahead of him, there's even some action happening with that group up there with Dakota Moniz and a 5 along with Kyle Rochelle.
So you saw there the 46 get right on the back bumper of the 10, but now lap traffic going to be the biggest issue. These are the drivers that started ahead of those that take the wave around. Ollie Fonseca going to go to the high side, giving an opportunity for us to go 4 wide once again for a quick moment. It's going to be Trebew getting the assistance from Logan Brakey's teammate. Little odd to see on the front stretch, but sometimes you got to help whoever you think is going to get you ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes that bottom side is what we call a losing battle. So sometimes you got to give up on your teammate to be able to get that position. And at this point of the race, you know, teammates, you're definitely going to give your teammate more room still, but you're not going to give your teammate a position. It's all about racing to the end. And I tell you what, Brakey said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make the inside work as he clears the 10 attribute, but now we'll see can jump, try to do something here in the 46 along with his teammate. Try to slide in front of that 10. Yes, he does pull the slider off, but can the 10 cross him back over on the exit?
Now they're going to be having lap traffic. This is where that little bit of finding the pick. Who are you going to work with? Who's going to be the advantage, disadvantage here? Logan Brakey's going to go to the inside, as well as that Trenton Jump going to be following suit. But Kyle Rochelle coming down, feeling like he can get by the lead lap driver of Dakota Moniz. And now this is going to be hurting Logan Brakey because he's got to make a very hard decision here quickly. He'll go to the outside of the 21.
Yeah, we'll see what Kyle Rochelle elects to do here. It looks like, yeah, he was trying to be a little bit racy down low with that 5 machine, but I tell you what, I think with the damage he got, he's going to be a little bit off pace, and you're going to want to let him see him probably let these guys by who are all bound position. There he goes, ducks it low, lets that 46 go. So great job on Kyle there. But now the 29 of Brakey, after getting past all that group, he goes up here. Great move on Dakota Moniz as he moves forward, and I think that's going to be due down to, I think there's some tire difference there. So yeah, about a 3-lap tire difference there between Brakey and Moniz.
Silky smooth, Logan Brakey making that pass, and now going to be finding himself up to 8th place, and that could be as far as we're going to see this 29B, as the next driver in front of him is going to be that of Freed, who's 3.5 seconds ahead. That's a lot of work if you want to gain into this mix, as well as behind this group we were just watching. The 10 of Tribute did get into the outside wall coming exit of turn 2. He's going to be losing ground and dropping back to that of 13th, as here's John Forbes as well as Jesse Thornick. They're still side by side trying to catch up to this pack in front of them. But as all this battling that we've been watching and just being amazed with our leaders up front, that of Gaudio and Irizarry, well, that battle is no more. It is a 1-second gap lead for Anthony Gaudio, and for that 3 machine, this is looking like a win if we stay green.
I tell you what, man, he has got Kansas figured out here tonight in the 3 machine. He's not even running the top in 3 and 4. He's doing the 14's old running the bottom there in 3 and 4, and he's just doing it, making it look fantastic. I must say, pulling away each and every lap from this field and just continue to build a gap. And I tell you, this is something I expected from these 3. I've seen this driver before have performances just like this, where it's just out of the blue and it's just domination. And he's showing that pace that I thought he would bring to this truck series, and at the right time too. I think if you're going to go out here and get your first win of the season and be a 13th place driver in points for the whole season up to this point, this is the perfect time to do it with 2 races to go in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to worry about that pressure of going into Richmond and hoping that you don't get caught up in a wreck. You get the win, you're automatically locked in. You're joining going to be the 7th different winner of the season of the drivers that are locked in. We've had plenty of other winners that are outside of our top 20, but for right now, I mean, this is crunch time. We saw that of Thomas Green get his win last week, and now looking for this of that of Gaudio trying to get his win here tonight. 12 laps to go here this evening. And another battle that's also interesting is we're looking for the 3 to get his first win. Another drivers, a couple of them trying to go for their first top 5s. That of Bogan and Norris, both trying to get their first top 5s of this season.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Norris, best career finish there, 4th. Bogan, this would be his best career finish there, finishing 4th. He's able to hold off Norris. But Norris can't look too far behind also. He's got Thomas Green there, who he did get by. But I tell you what, you never know here late in the going. All it takes is one mistake. Just touch that wall one time. We see how much of a momentum loss it is. But what a run it's been going for this 36 and 54. If you would have said they were in the top 5 tonight, you would have said, wow, that's going to be an interesting scenario for them to get into that position. I mean, definitely both drivers have been fringe top 10 drivers for most of the season. But, man, tonight they've been able to place their cars right, stay out of the wall when they needed to, and now put themselves in position to pull off the top 5.
I mean, big credit for Bogan. He's another one of those drivers got into the wall, able to fight his way back, have that mental fortitude. Even though this season has been an up and down roller coaster for that 36, and there's been times where drivers weren't sure how we're going to see Bogan race. He has been doing a great job here tonight, racing hard with all the drivers that have been usually up front, and now he's looking for his first top 5 finish here this evening. But still, we can't throw it out there. 10 laps to go, still plenty of racing. A yellow could come out at any moment. We've seen drivers, when they get into these runs, the potential of a yellow is always going to be there. And if we're going to see it, it could be back for the battling that's going on for that of 13th place. John Forbes, Jesse Thordick, and Eric Kralik all on top of one another with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, I tell you what, this group here, we see they've had a wild day themselves in the 01 and the 11. And this battle here for these top 15 positions are getting a little dicey here. Like you said, Sam, this is heating up 3 wide now. Kralik looking to the inside. He's going to back out of it. Good thing he did there, because that was definitely going to be an incident there up into the 11 machine.
Right now, they continue to battle it out. 8 laps come to 7 laps to go when we see the 3 cross the line. But certainly, for Jesse Thordick, he is trying to go for a good run for himself, and he is putting all the pressure on that of our 2 drivers that were looking like favorites here this evening. John Forbes, Eric Kralik, they have gotten into one another already this race a couple of times, and have also gotten into that outside wall. It hasn't been a pretty race for themselves, but at least going for a top 15 run for the right currently. But they got to be really trying to hope they don't make any more mistakes, because Tyler Dangler's still about 1.3 seconds back. If one or both get in that outside wall, that 19 is going to capitalize.
Yeah, and that's what Tyler Dingler wants to see. Any points he can grab, that'll build a buffer for him heading into Richmond next week. That'll really help that 19 machine out. So Tyler Dingler is saying, come on, guys, make a little mistake here to give me a little few more points. And another battle that I was just watching is, actually, that battle is going to end quickly. Is Trenton Jump up here, up in that 8th position, around 9th. He's up into the wall. He was just on the back bump from his teammate Logan Brakey right here in this 29. But now, going to be mired back a few seconds, and actually it's going to put him in jeopardy of possibly having to fight Dakota Moniz there in the 5 machine for a 9th position.
Anytime that happened, also Dylan Walterman got into the outside wall, so it's starting to get that trend. And also looking at the tire wear, it has been around the 25 to 30 lap marker of tire wear when drivers have had their worst stints of getting into that outside wall. And Zach, we have just hit that threshold. We are now in that window of everyone on track is either 25 laps on tires here or more. So this is that danger zone for the final 5 laps of this race.
Yeah, this definitely is the danger zone. And right now, looking at the lap times, as the first few 33s are coming in as our top 5. The time before were all in the 32s. Now a few of those guys, including 3 or 4 of them, hitting their first 33-second laps there that last time by. So it is definitely starting to get into the fall-off zone of the tires, but with 5 to go, Gaudio, the only thing he hopes for, man, is he's just got to see this thing run green to the end. If it runs green to the end, he's got a gap here where he can technically make a small mistake and still be able to hold on to this position. So 4 to go here with him, 1.6-second lead. He's looking to be very, very safe here, I imagine, in these last few laps, and he's not even getting that close to the wall.
No, he's running about a half groove over away from that wall, just trying to make sure he does not make any types of mistakes, which honestly, keeping that far away, he's still running faster than anyone else on track. Anthony Gaudio, this 3 machine, he's been searching and lurking for some type of a good run, and here at Kansas, something finally clicks for this team. 3 laps to go for the 3 machine of Anthony Gaudio as we go down to turn number 1.
Yeah, well, like you said, something just has seemed to click here for him tonight, and Kansas might be the turnaround point. This is what we may look back on near the end of the season and say, this was the key, the motivational point that has got him to formulate maybe a possible championship run. What a story that would be. To really have a pretty mediocre season up to this point, especially for his standards, I'd imagine, up to this point. And now come out here, win this late in the season, and be able to fight for a win. This is exactly what Gaudio wants to see, and he's only got 2 more laps to prove he's a winner here.
Anthony Gaudio just rolling and ripping the outside. He's been feeling comfortable for most of this race. He's been trying to keep this 3 out of trouble, out of danger. He qualified 6th. He was going to be up front for the majority of this race. He's seen a lot of his competitors throw their race away each and every lap. But at turn number 4, coming to your Fletcher Florist white flag, it is that of Anthony Gaudio, the driver we posed as a threat to watch out for at the beginning of the season. It's been a roller coaster since then, but now for an opportunity to finally get to victory lane.
What a story this would be. Not only would it be his first victory, but also the first top 5 finish on this season. Best finish up to this point, it would be a 6th place finish in Michigan. He's got 3 and 4 left.
All he has to do is just rip it on the inside. He's been seeing, he's been watching, and he finally, from the skills that GT Rizari showed earlier in the race, he gave him the speed. The 3 wins here at Kansas for that of the FreedomNoBuyer.com 225. It's Anthony Gaudio.
What a drive from him, man. Congratulations to him. He's going to be an excited driver when we talk to him here in a few minutes, no doubt indeed. And what a job to get that first career win. And, man, had to fight hard, had the 14 to go of GT. And I know GT and him, they've raced before. They're buddies from another league. So definitely happy for one another, I bet.
And Zach, you talked about it. First top 5 and win goes to this 3. Same scenario of Thomas Green last week goes for this 3 team. Just all the drivers that have been struggling for most of the season are starting to hit themselves into that rhythm here late. But what's even crazier is we have ourselves 3 different drivers getting their first top 5 finishes here this evening.
I mean, that right there is a beautiful stat. I mean, 3 first-time top 5 finishes this season. That just shows you how good a race we had here at Kansas. And even to look at the other stats, Ricardo, the guy hasn't led a lap since this opener at Daytona. 20 laps there, didn't lead a lap since then. And here tonight at Kansas, he left us with no doubt that he was definitely the winner here.
He's going to be burning it down for a while, so we'll just let him do so. So we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3, Ethan Smith, GT Rizari, and Anthony Gaudio. That's going to go and burn this sucker down until that engine blows. Congratulations to the 3. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show for that of the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. This is race number 12 at Kansas, and it certainly was a surprising one. A lot of favorites getting up in that outside wall, giving opportunities for drivers that had never had opportunities to lead, get top fives. Well, they're up front and having the best runs of their season. As we have our top three, Ethan Smith, GT Irizarry, and Anthony Gaudio, we're going to bring in third place finisher, that of Ethan Smith, to get his thoughts on how this race went for himself. Ethan, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. You got us?
I got you.
Well, Ethan, this was a different race than most here at Kansas. Saw a lot of front runners getting up into that outside wall. How was it, though, for your standpoint, dealing with this truck here tonight?
It was definitely scary. I've had a couple scares myself tonight. As the runs went on, I actually started running where those dash marks are, like half a lane lower to give myself a little buffer. Because multiple times in front of me, I've had people get too tight and bump into someone else, or they just get in the wall, and I've had to cut down and get out of the way. It's definitely scary, and you don't want to be against the wall yourself when someone in front of you goes into the wall. I mean, you're gonna have nowhere to go. I just took it carefully, and I just played it safe, and clearly it's worked out.
Yeah, no doubt it did, Ethan. Congrats, man, on that third place finish. A really great run there
Thank
for you here coming home tonight. And I tell you what, like you said, the line really and staying out of the wall when drivers up ahead of you hit it. You know, we seen coming down to the end, the top three of y'all were all running the bottom at 3 and 4. So how was it keeping up with the line all night? It seemed like 1 and 2 up top was the way to go as the run went on. But down there in 3 and 4, we had different options as the race went on, it seemed.
Yeah, even in the middle of the race, after all the restarts, if we're still bunched up, running the top line works. But you lose so much time running the high line if you're alone on 3 and 4. Even the draft is not going to be enough going down that front tri-oval. It's not going to work. You just lose so much time doing it. And I tried it a few times, hoping to maybe get a better run. But if you're not grouped up, the outside on 3 and 4 it's not fast.
Well, Ethan, this was a great run on your part. Top three finish for yourself. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Shout out to Anthony for winning tonight. He was fast. I mean, I almost took him out when we were 3-4 wide on one of those restarts. I'm glad I didn't. I did my best not to. I was all over the apron. Shouts out to him for winning. You guys for putting this on, friends and family or anybody else that's watching. Hot Lab Designs, Danny Cochran. Can't wait to see him back. I believe he comes back next week, so be excited for that.
I believe he's coming back as well next week, Danny Cochran, after his suspension. But for you, Ethan, it has been a great run. Top three finish. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into Richmond next week.
Thank you.
It's going to be Ethan Smith in the 00 coming away with third place finish. Now we go down to second place, where we find ourselves with GT Irizarry. And GT, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. But this obviously is not the positioning that you wanted to find yourself in. It's second place once again here this season.
It's better than third, though.
That's very true. It is better than third. But GT, give us your thoughts on how tonight went with your car.
Tight. Clean air was everything, and then we ended up getting a little bit of nose damage. When I don't know who it was, they tried to pull the slide job in 1 and 2, and it was too soon to do that. And I guess I kind of touched them. They hit the wall. Didn't do it intentionally. It's just that the speed difference was so much there from the slide job, so we got a little bit of nose damage there, and got in a little incident earlier when there was a big checkup or something, and I think it caught us on the left rear. But other than that, I mean, it was fun, man. I mean, hell, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad. Congratulations to Gaudio. He deserved that.
Yeah, Gaudio definitely had a great run there, GT, man. I tell you what, I've seen it before here at Kansas back in the day with us here. You always seem to be able to make the bottom work the earliest of anybody, man. And I feel like that probably was a crucial thing for you getting through this field here tonight from that 16th position. Not only that, with some strategy too to allow you to get up there, but man, I mean, how crucial was it, you think, making the bottom in 3 and 4 there to work? Because it seemed like you were the first one to really make that bottom in 3 and 4 happen, and then a few other guys caught on. It seemed as the race went on.
Well, you've called races for me, and in these mile and a halfs, I tend to be the bottom feeder, and that on some of them it doesn't work out at first, and then it comes in later on, and you're able to make up ground and start making some passes. But my thought process is if everybody's going to fight to get to the top, then I'll just stay down low. And if I could stay down low for a good bit of the race, that's just a less chance that I'm closer to the wall and hitting it. So, I mean, but when we didn't tag it any, so that's good.
Certainly is a good thing. And GT, a great run here for second place for yourself. But before we let you go, all the floor is yours for any shout outs.
That W's coming. I don't know where, but it is coming. But want to thank the boys put on the league. It's very competitive racing here. Like real hard racing. You really ain't got much time to kind of just sit back and relax unless you pull out. So thanks everybody on the track. Thanks you boys up in the booth. ButtKicker. Got to thank Mustang Week for coming on board to be the sponsor for my cup and my truck rides. That event again is in July. Last week in July. It's going to be a big final blowout for Mustang Week. So thank everybody that helps put this thing on, man. Appreciate it, guys.
That's going to be GT Irizarry in the 14, coming away with a second place finish. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into Richmond next week.
10-4. Thanks, guys.
As now we go to Victory Lane, where we find the 3 machine of Anthony Gaudio. And for Anthony Gaudio in this 3, it certainly has been an up and down type of a season for himself, but finally could say he is a winner of season 2 for the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Anthony, congratulations on your win. How are you feeling getting the dominant win? Because you look like the best truck there in the final half of this race.
Man, I'm just so excited. Finally, all the ducks lined up for me, and this truck was just super fast tonight, and I'm almost speechless.
Well, I gotta tell you, Anthony and Zach also up in the booth, man. Congrats, long time no talk, buddy. Good to hear you back up here in the booth with us. Not only is your first win, but also first top 5, man. Take us through your season, because this had to been a roller coaster of ups and downs and just trying to get something to happen. And tonight it happens here, and only with 2 races left before the playoffs happen, you lock yourself in that 13th place in here in points tonight. That has got to feel tremendous.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, it's just been, like you said, a roller coaster. I qualify pretty good, usually in the top 10, and it's just bad luck after bad luck. I had a couple solid finishes, but nothing promising. And, I was somehow still in 13th in the points, which is, close to the end. But tonight was just, I love Kansas. Kansas is one of my favorites. Yeah.
Well, Anthony, you certainly showing off your promise here tonight. I mean, Zach and I up in the booth, we even said it. It seemed like something just switched here tonight, and it worked out for yourself. We do want to give one more question to you. There was a couple of moments in the early portions of this race where you almost found yourself being wiped out. What was going through your mind then until you started to realize everyone else around you was being taken out?
It's more or less a moment where you just got to keep sending it. I did some officials this week, and I'm usually up in the top split, and it's just crazy and it's intense racing. Like you can't be checking up and letting people go by. You got to take every move you can get, and just got to be aggressive and be smart at the same time. And tire management's huge. And we were fighting a loose race car all night. But yeah, it's all about fighting.
That you certainly did, getting yourself into victory lane and getting your win that officially locks you into the playoffs. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I just like to shout out to my team, Team Watson Racing, my teammates, Dylan and Morris, and you guys. You guys are the best. I don't there's no comparison. And then the league admins for putting on this great league, and my family and everyone watching. Thank you so much.
That's going to be the 3 of Anthony Gaudio, winner here at Kansas Speedway for that of the Freedom Notebuyers.com 225. Congratulations on your win, Anthony, and good luck going into Richmond next week.
Thank you.
Well, what a race it was. We got to see amazing saves, disastrous wrecks, and at times question marks throughout the night. But the one thing that we do know is Anthony Gaudio in the 3 does not have to worry about points going into next week. The 3 is locked into the playoffs with this win. As we take a look here at our results, so I want to give note of a sponsor I kind of forgot because we were flying through stage breaks. We want to give thanks to that of North Star Designs. North Star Designs have graphic designs, logos, websites, and more. Hey, if you're looking to get in contact with them, look up North Star Designs on Instagram or go to TWNORSE on Twitter or on Twitch to get more information. Whether you need to stand out, remember, look to the stars, North Star Designs. As here's our finishers and our unofficial results. Anthony Gaudio, our winner with GT Rizari. Ethan Smith, going to be your top 3 that we just got to talk to. And then also joining that of Gaudio in your first time top 5 finishers, it's Morris Bogan and also Christopher Norris. Then outside of top 5, going to be that of Thomas Green, Joshua Freed, Logan Breaky, Trent Jump, Dakota Moniz. And you look at some of the other drivers and where they finished. Certainly you could say for Jason Tamer, this was not the night that he wanted. Cal Rochelle the same. Loveland, apparently everyone from 24th on back. This was not how they want this night to go.
Yeah, another one of those Ali Fonseca there early for him in the 24, also involved up in an incident. And unfortunate incidents. Sipes there, a winner from earlier in the season, his chances of making the playoffs gone out the window now. And now we look forward to Richmond, man, because Richmond, that's where it's all going to go down. We're going to decide who are the 16 drivers that are going to be able to fight for a championship. I mean, I believe at this point now we've had 8 different winners, and technically one of those winners is going to be possibly close to the 20th place point in or 20th place points after Richmond if he doesn't, if matter depending on that race. So we'll have to see how the points enter in there, but man, it could be really a interesting scenario when we head off in the race for next week. And we know how short track racing is. It can be anybody's game. Anybody can be caught up in some type of incident. You're never safe.
Yeah, and looking at the points, this is just a rough estimate from what I'm seeing from where the drivers are to where the points were coming into this race. I mean, you got to be thinking for Jason Tamer, James Loveland. Those are the 2 drivers that are in a big scare moment. They're going to be our 2 bubble drivers right next to Tyler Dangler, Joshua Freed, Kyle Rochelle, Ali Fonseca. Those 4 drivers that are just outside of our top 16, it is just going to close in and get a little bit closer going into Richmond, meaning if you have any mistake, you could throw your season away and not make it into the playoffs. Only 16 drivers make it. And so the pressure is on going into Richmond next week. But Zach, before we leave here at Kansas, what are some of your final thoughts before we get to other notifications and updates coming up?
Well, final thoughts, man. Definitely shout out to Anthony Gaudio. We see the 3 on the camera right now. Well-deserved win. We had a feeling it was coming at some point, and I was wondering when it would finally click for him this season, and it has here tonight at Kansas. So shout out to him, and shout out to the rest of drivers putting on an excellent show here at Kansas once again on a Monday night. We can't complain about that, and I cannot wait for Richmond. Just that final race, that excitement before we head off into the playoffs, it is going to be ecstatic. You're not going to want to miss it, folks. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
It was a wild race here tonight. Anthony Gaudio figuring out how to get it done. As you could see on screen, getting his congratulational bumps from everyone after the race was done. But for tonight, that's it for the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. The penultimate race is done. We have one more to go, and that's Richmond next week, where we find out who's making it to the playoffs for Season 2, who will become the second champion. Because Vincent Sora never raced this season, it's wide open. A new champion will be crowned, and you're hoping that you're at least having an opportunity going into next week. Well, we hope to see you then, but if you want to see racing action before next week, we certainly have it here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Gonna be Wednesday night. We got short track racing action at Phoenix for that of the MRRS Super Late Model Racing Action Series. Can't wait to see those drivers. And if you don't want to see, if you miss out on that, it's okay. We still have other races Saturday night. We're going to be fun in Richmond as well. Going to be a race for that of the WSSR iRacing iFlag Cup Series, as they're going to be getting you a preview of how Richmond will be ran. They'll be in the next gen cars, but if you miss out on those 2 races, we hope to see you next week, because next week the thunder is out. It's time for the lights to be thrown, because it will be seen who's making it to the playoffs. only 16 drivers do, and we cannot wait to show it here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hull, Robert Moyer running productions here tonight, thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you later this week, but if we don't, we hope to see you next week. Richmond, who's making the playoffs? We'll see you then.